when we get the GTD, we're planning a 6,000 mile US tour in the car just to share it with the community. The next year in my other GT40, I had a Mark 1, it was a dark gray, and I did 2,700 miles in 6 days in that GT40.
That was sick.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Minnoxide podcast. I'm your host, Harris, aka Minnoxide, man of many automotive aspirations, and I'm here with my Ford-loving co-host, Dan.
Feeling right at home now.
You know, for once, you're not getting yesterday you're getting stared down by Porsches, an RX-7. You feel at home now.
I do.
Yeah, and your pick 3 is back here too.
It is.
So that kind of works out.
I mean, it's not the diesel one, but that's good enough.
Yeah, fair enough. And today we are here with Vinny Gigilo. This is the part where I say nailed it, and then and then Miller Coakley. A great way of describing you guys is just pure on car enthusiasts, right? Yeah. And honestly, I'm just gonna let you introduce yourselves. I'll start with you, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Sounds good. So I'm Vinny, VinGiggs. Huge car enthusiast. I don't know how I became a Ford guy, but I did many years ago. It's actually due to that car there.
You like finer things.
I love finer things in life. Yeah, so I'm a real estate developer in the North Carolina area, and but I tend on social media, you'll find me talking mostly about cars. And I'm a rally guy. I've done some track stuff, but generally I just love to take a day and head to the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're about an hour from there, and just go rip. So that's pretty much the long and short of it.
Yeah. And then how about you?
So I'm Miller. I am an automotive photographer. I guess that's the base of it. I also do social media managing. I do, kind of a jack of all trades, media-wise and stuff like that. Photography, social media, consulting, and that kind of stuff. I've been doing YouTube for about 7.5, 8 years, and so just been doing that anything social media. I kind of tried to do my best hand at. So. Do that, and then me and Vinny met, and we're brothers now.
Pretty much, yeah, from another mother.
Yeah.
Well, just so the audience knows, like we were talking, how long is it? Like an hour and a half? Almost 2 hours before we get to record. So like you guys just got some stories, man. Like you guys travel the country doing some cool stuff. I mean, locally especially. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about how you got into Fords, how you landed on the cars you have today, something about your collection, and we'll just kind of see where that takes us.
So I've had everything from Lamborghinis to Porsches to muscle cars to, I mean, you name it. That's kind of, and I didn't come from anything. So this is all self-built. And
yeah, so what's your story there, actually? Let's see and go further back.
So back when I was 5, back when I was 5, I wanted to be an airline pilot. That was my dream. And I lived in Southern California. I lived in a town called Playa del Rey, which is, actually my hometown's El Segundo, but the planes used to fly over. So I told my mom, I want to be a pilot. So eventually I did that. At 23, I was hired with Northwest Airlines regional carrier, and I flew a CRJ 200. And I was drowning in debt and had no money. And I was like, and one of my training captains gave me the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he's like, here, read this. It was in the Minneapolis airport, in fact. It was a bookstore there. And so about a week after I read that book, I flew back to LA where I was living. So I would actually live in Detroit, Michigan. That was my base for the airline. And then I'd fly home for 24 hours just to see my family, and then I'd go back to work. I flew home one day and I just called the airline and I said I quit. Where do I send my uniforms? I'd been with them for about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the motive behind that though?
Reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because my student loan payment was $850 a month. Okay. And I was making $1,277 a month flying a jet for the airline.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It averaged out to about $3.54 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I know that we're going to talk cars, but that was kind of the origin. It was between that and I was in the DC airport flying a deadhead back to Detroit. This was right before I quit. I boarded a plane in uniform and finished my flight, and I'm going back to Detroit, Michigan. And the old gray-haired captain walks down the aisle, and I'm the only one sitting there, and he's like, hey, how old are you? I was like 23, and he's like, get out. I was like, you want me to get off the plane? Yeah. He's like, no. He's like, get out of the airline industry. He's like, it's going downhill. He's like, go figure out a way to make a lot of money and pay me to fly you around. And so between that and reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, this is like an omen. So, yeah.
So then where do you go from there then?
By the way, before that, I did serve in the Army. I was in the infantry. So I did get some like VA money from my deployment and stuff to use towards that. So anyway, I've got a long history of things I've done leading up to what I'm doing today. But
well, it's hard to tell a whole however many years in 20 minutes.
Yeah, how much time? Yeah. So I ended up, I ended up getting into commercial real estate finance.
Okay.
I worked for a company for about 6 months, just kind of working in a back room, learning the business, and then eventually got hired on with another company as like a grasshopper to a top producer. And long story short, ended up becoming his business partner, moved to North Carolina, still ran my LA business. And then when I got here, I was like, wow, everybody wants to do business with me here because I have a specialty in commercial real estate.
Okay.
Met my business partner, and now we build big multifamily mixed use.
Okay.
All urban infill. I don't like tearing down trees. And then we also do development Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So then, and again, this is just high level stuff, but then how do you end up, did you have an ambition to get into cars? Like some guys are like, that's the car I want, that's where the hustle comes from. Or what was your main, I guess, ambition in life? Iron Man. I told you
Audi
this.
R8.
Yeah, freaking R8s.
This is my favorite story of his. Is the R8.
I just was obsessed with the R8. Couldn't afford one. Saw one in my hometown one time. My jaw hit the floor right when they first came out. So I did buy an E92 M3 before the R8 because that was more affordable to me.
Yeah.
But what I would do is every year I would set a goal to build my business more so that I could buy a car.
Yeah.
And then, so when I bought my R8, the way I bought it was we were coming out of the downturn in the economy, finally started doing more business, was starting to make a little bit of money, had about 45 grand saved up. And one of my clients came in and said, hey, you need to go buy a condo in Las Vegas. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, by the way, this leads to the car. So that's what I'm telling us. He goes, here's my agent's contact info. Call her right now while I'm standing here. Go out there and buy your first place. I was like, okay. So I called her. The next day I drove out. We made 12 offers on condos. Bought one all cash. They had originally sold for like $250,000 at their peak, and I bought my first one for 45 grand, which was exactly how much I saved up.
After the downturn, right?
After the downturn. Okay. Used this little, I don't have it in my pocket now, but I used that little phone in my pocket with YouTube, figure out how to fix up the place, and used credit cards to like buy all the supplies to like fix the place. Rented it for $850 a month.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, cool. Well, I just created a revenue stream that can pay for my R8. By the way, don't do that when you're starting out. But eventually that's how my goal that year was I'm going to buy a couple more assets. I'm going to figure out how, even if I have to use friends and family to put up money or whatever, which none of them did because, I hadn't done this before.
Right.
But eventually I had enough properties where my properties bought my R8.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, this is primarily an automotive podcast, but I do have these questions. So, like, did you have like a mentor in all this, or was this YouTube University back then, or?
No. So I was doing multifamily financing as a broker in Southern California.
Right, okay.
Yep. So I had a lot of clients that were high net worth guys, and they had built it from scratch and ground up. So I'm just a very curious guy. So I'm always asking them how they did it, and I'm teaching them how to build wealth by accessing equity in their properties to go buy more properties. So eventually I woke up and I'm like, why am I not doing what I do for them? Right. And that was how it started.
So okay, so then you get the R8, the Iron Man R8, which I've been telling you this generation is going to buy more. It's going to go up in value. I'm telling you.
Agreed.
Well, it's like we have this conversation on the podcast all the time. It's like, people eventually get to a point where they buy what they wanted 20 years ago, right?
That's right.
And the R8 is the perfect example of
Perfect.
that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you get the R8. How do you end up, how do we get to today?
Sure. So every year, like I said, I set goals at the end of my year, and one of them is a car goal. What car do I want to buy next year? And then the way I do that is I either have to get enough income the next year to pay all cash for that car, or I have to buy assets that will pay for that vehicle. Okay. And that's how so indirectly I'm growing my business through cars. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a benchmark.
It's a benchmark, exactly. So it was Audi R8, and then it was V10 R8, and then it was eventually Lamborghini, and then eventually I ran out of goals, so I bought a plane, and then I sold the plane. You know what I mean? It was like
plane was a lot, yeah.
But it was like this whole So now my goals have shifted away from cars. I have the perfect collection, Mr. Ford guy over there, right? It doesn't get better than this. Yeah. But I always wanted a Ford GT. I always wanted an 05 because when they first came out, I was obsessed with them. Okay. But I wasn't.
You should have bought one when they first came out because they were a little cheaper.
I got a deal 2.5 years ago for what I paid for that. You want to know what I paid for that? You know what I mean? Like, but so when I finally got to the point where I could afford a Ford GT, by the way, this was back when I was negotiating one for $190,000. Okay. I decided someone sent me that car. They're like, you should buy this. It just came across my desk. I'm like, that's different. I'll buy that instead of that, which was a mistake financially, but I'll tell you, but it ruined me for life.
Okay.
Best driving experience ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
You're gonna find out later.
So, what makes it the best driving experience?
So it comes off the truck. I'm in North Carolina. I'm 3.5 hours from Tail of Dragon.
Okay.
AC is not working. It's dead summer. So I grab a
Really
95
authentic
degrees.
experience.
really authentic experience.
95 degrees.
95 degrees outside. So it must have been 130 in there or something. So I grab this 1 gallon bag of ice and I stick it on the back of my neck and I leave my house. I'm like, bye wife, see you later. You know, like, hope I make it back. And I drive 3.5 hours. I'm stopping more to refill my bag of ice. In fact, I have video from it that I took of me with a selfie with this bag of ice. And make it to Tail of Dragon. Car breaks. I don't care. I find some little shop. We put Band-Aids on, you know, we bandage it. 12 hours and 2 days I drove in that car dead summer. Tail of Dragon, Blue Ridge Mountains, all that stuff, highway driving. And I came back and I was like, I'm done. Like it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. And this was like the day after it came off the truck.
Literally.
Okay.
And mind you, he had just had a Viper AC, like it was an ACR, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like an early, 05. So like he's coming into that car and saying, "Oh, this car's way more rowdy."
Real.
And a Lamborghini. I had that and a Lamborghini Performante.
Yeah.
And I got rid of those. So this is where
Okay.
This is where it's at.
Yep.
So, what did the process of getting this car look like then?
As far as what?
You have like a broker you're working through or something at this point? You said he sent you that instead of this. Was it somebody you were working with?
So
or?
a friend of mine, if you're familiar with Superformance, Superformance has a couple dealerships across the country.
Yep.
And my friend had ordered a Cobra Mark III.
Okay.
And he goes, hey, you ought to reach out to my buddy and get, you know. So I reached out to him just curious. And I had actually placed an order for a GT40. And he called me a few days later. He's like, hey, while we're waiting for that, because it was like 1.5 years, 2 years out.
Okay.
I have this. Why don't you buy this? Sorry, I left that out of the story.
So, what? Because you kind of said you alluded to they're like a little bit special. What goes into some of these? Like, I'm sure have you gotten like tours of like where they're at, or like how familiar are you with the?
So they build them in South Africa, and then they ship them over here as completed rollers, and then they build them out actually 25 minutes from my house. It's
No
great.
way. Okay.
Yeah. And
Is that the guy you were referring to?
that's the guy I was
earlier?
referring to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Old Top Racing. So these are special though because they're not kits; they're actually continuation versions from the original from the 1960s.
Okay. So what does that mean?
So the license, and I'm blanking now because I'm on the podcast, but the license was bought out, I think, in the 80s.
Okay.
This is actually a cool story. The license for the GT40 name was bought out along with all the original tooling. So these are actually built in a factory. They're 80 or 90% interchangeable with the original cars, and they go in the historic registry as a GT40P car alongside the original GT40s.
Well, that's freaking cool.
They're awesome. So this one's like signed by Carroll Shelby. This is the 15th one they ever built.
Okay.
Post-production of the original cars.
How many did they build?
I think they're just under 500 right now.
Okay.
So it's still not, I mean, you know, this is a long production timeline too.
Yeah.
So they're fully licensed. So story behind the Ford GT, do you know why it's called a Ford GT and not a GT40?
Isn't it?
Was the licensing already bought out?
Because of that car.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
They have the licensing to GT40.
Okay.
Ford does not.
Okay.
So they called it the Ford GT.
Okay.
That's my understanding. That's
I would have lost my trivia there. I definitely. I don't know why.
He literally explained it just before he.
Because this was supposed to be a tribute car to the GT40.
Yeah, I saw the article. It said back with 500 horsepower or something like that. The Ferrari killer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So super special car. I mean, obviously that ruined me for life. And then I'm like, eventually I gotta get a Ford GT, which is why I started looking at him more seriously. He knows the story. It took me about 2 years to find that black and silver one because I was looking for a very specific 4-option, certain amount of miles, certain condition, and it popped on the market. I do daily search. I bought it within 24 hours of it being listed. And
so so what's that? Is there a certain mileage of car that you prefer to buy? Like, was it driven more than 6 miles, or what's the sweet spot?
That car I wanted about 10,000 plus or minus miles because I knew I was going to drive it.
Right.
You know, I see the ones that are selling at 1,500 miles and they're selling for 100, 200 grand more.
And then every mile costs like $70 a mile of depreciation.
However, they are going up, like they're in such high demand right now. The values are skyrocketing with them. So I don't feel bad anymore. So I just went on Corsa last week and drove 1,200 miles in it.
So you're a big rally guy. That's where I found out about your existence. I was telling you when you did Crown Rally, what was it, 4 years ago now?
2018 or 19.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Pre-COVID?
We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pre-COVID.
Well, it's like, I found your Instagram. We've been chatting pretty much ever since, but it's like, is there like a certain allure to rallies for you? Because you do quite a few throughout the year,
so
right?
I was a track guy back in the day when I was living in California. So Willow Springs and Big Willow were the tracks I would go to all the time in my R8. And that's where I learned that I can't drive. There was a GT race driver that drove Audi R8s like professionally, and I invited him to the track not thinking he would show up, and he showed up. So I'm at Big Willow in my V8 R8, and he's like I'm here. I'm like, you're where, at the track? He's like, yeah, come pick me up. And I was just about to go on a session, so I picked him up and threw him in the right seat. And I won't use the words he used on the camera, but I'm driving and he's just like dogging me and yelling at me, and he's like, pull over, like 2 laps, and he was like so bored. He's like, pull over. He's like, let me show you what this car can do. So he put me in the right seat. I was like, what?
Scared.
Was it just everything, like how late he's braking and
everything?
Yeah.
And then he starts showing off. So he's putting the car sideways through some of the turns and like literally drifting around turns at Big Willow and like just crazy stuff. I thought I was gonna die for sure.
In your car too,
Number one, it humbled me, and number two, it gave me a whole new respect for that car, right? And then I'm like, oh, cool. The way I drive it, I'm not gonna die. Like I can push it a little harder, you know?
As you get more seat time, you gotta learn to trust the car a little bit, and that is a hard hump to get over. And I've gone off a couple times. Thankfully not into a wall, but
Exactly.
Well, you were talking about it off camera about like Corey and Viper, right? Like that dude, like just at the ragged edge.
He just set the lap record at VIR.
Yeah, he just
Really?
it is Viper. Yep.
That's
And he
legit.
was. I know this might be spoilers for Banging Gears, and I'll check. But I know.
Are you held back by NDAs like some of the other people?
I was not held back by an NDA. I just am friends of everybody who is. So I heard through the grapevine, I don't know who specifically, but he beat Tanner Faust in a Senna with his Viper around a track. I don't know, but
I know nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. But like
this section is brought to you by AI.
But no, he's a very fast
he's a legit driver.
And he knows the limit of that car.
Yeah, and he'll drive like that in the mountains and everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the scariest ride along you've done?
Ooh, scariest ride along. I'll have to think about that one. I mean, that Audi R8 was pretty crazy, but just because I wasn't expecting it. Actually, I know my scariest ride along.
You're talking about
Brad DeVerde.
Yep.
I told you guys this story.
Okay.
I don't have to get into it too much, but Brad and his dad live close to me, and they surprised me one day with me showing up to his racetrack, his dirt racetrack I knew nothing about with all these jumps, and I got put in a side-by-side with Brad. And if you don't know who Brad is, he's, how do you describe Brad's racing history?
He's a multi-year champion, like off-road racer, and he like can do anything. Like you wouldn't expect a vehicle to react the way he drives it. And he even scares me. And I've been racing side-by-sides for a couple of years, and I won't get in the passenger seat.
He used me as the test subject on his racetrack.
Okay.
So there were moments where we're flying 50, 100 feet through the air. I don't even know. We were not touching ground as I was riding passenger. Yeah, and I think I had to change my pants after that one. It was crazy. Like that was the scariest I've ever been. Don't know how we didn't flip or do something, but
he's a really good driver, and we created the track to kind of create that scare. So like there's a corner you come around after the front stretch, and you're like, oh, this is so sick. Like this is an off-road racetrack, and then you just go around the corner and there's no more track.
You can't see.
And it's just a giant step down, and you don't even see the lip. So you're just going around, and you're like,
all of a sudden you're in the air.
And you're flying.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster.
With that being said, because they surprised me, literally, like I showed up at the house, and his dad's like, get out of the truck. I'm like, just park it right here, get out. And he shoves a helmet in my stomach, and he goes, do you have any back problems? And I'm like, No, why? And he points, and Brad like, I don't know if they planned this. Like,
we did.
It was like
Absolutely.
synchronized.
Oh, it was absolutely
he goes,
planned.
Right, and as he points, like Brad drives out of the garage in this side by side, and I'm like, oh shit! I just knew, but I didn't know about the track. So anyway, you can find that YouTube video. You can watch me.
Oh yeah,
as the test subject riding in Brad's side by side.
Yeah,
and I'm scared. So anyway, I did a payback for Brad. I had another GT40 that I brought up to his house. I'm like, hey mother. You're coming for a ride with me. It's like, yeah, that sounds great. I've never seen Brad scream.
He's the same way. He is like so comfortable in his world, and Vinny was so comfortable in his world,
right?
And I was the mediator between the two. So I flipped, and I was like, I know you're gonna get scared in his car, and I know you're gonna get scared in the side by side. So we, got the good end of the
It was
stick.
a great comeback.
Well, what were you saying? This car weighs what, 2,300 pounds?
Yeah.
Would you say 580 horse or something?
Yeah, it's got a Roush 427 IR, and if you know anything about that motor, it's just like the ultimate, in my opinion, it's like one of the ultimate true American like kick-ass motors.
Yep.
And when you're putting it with that much weight in it, it's just, there's nothing like it. The sounds, the feel, it's very torquey, and there's not much weight holding you back.
No, it's literally just you and the motor in that thing.
Yeah.
You and the motor is
You and the motor and the steering wheel, maybe some brakes.
With two fuel cells.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear it fire up because from the videos I've seen, it sounds amazing.
It's epic.
Yeah.
You can't capture it in a cell phone.
Whether you are new to working on cars or a seasoned shop owner at the top of their game, the High Performance Academy is where all car enthusiasts can go to expand their skill sets. If you want to learn how to build an engine, tune your car, improve your wiring or suspension setups, the HP Academy has the perfect step-by-step course for you. As a friend of the show, they've provided listeners with a special 55% off discount code that you can use risk-free on any course of your choosing. Details are in the description of the show below, or go to the partners page at Minnoxide.com. Go check it out. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
Well, you also like to share your cars with folks too, because like I was watching your Instagram story. Like you go out. It's not Cars and Coffee. Was that Cars and Coffee out here?
Coffee, yep. It was last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you tell them about it.
Yeah, so we took the 66, right? GT40?
Yeah.
Down to Cars and Coffee Morrisville, and it's the biggest one, I think, on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Right next to Cars and, was it Caffeine and Octane in Atlanta?
Oh, okay.
And so it is.
There was more than 5,000 people. Like, it's crazy.
Really?
They have
Huge.
multiple business parks attached
Yeah,
that are full of cars.
It's insane. And
Caffeine
so-
and Octane in Atlanta is the one that your buddy does, the monster guy. Doesn't he go to that one a lot too? He was talking about that one in his podcast.
Well, maybe.
Hoover? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Right,
great
anyway,
one, too.
sorry.
Yeah, Caffeine and Octane's crazy. And so we pull up, and we got invited by the host to go, and we're there before it even starts. And as we're rolling in, I mean, it's just maybe 50 to 80 people are already walking beside us as we're just strolling in. And we park it, and I mean, there was probably 500-600 people just standing around it the whole day, like it just rotating.
Yeah.
And we let a couple hundred people at least sit in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Like, we just let the door open. In fact, we
was
let
great.
a cat turned it into its home. The
Yeah,
passenger
the
seat.
cat crawled in there.
This guy walks around with a cat on his shoulders.
Okay.
Your little context.
Yeah.
So as he gets in the car, he sets the cat on top of the car.
That's
and we're
hilarious.
like, oh, that's a first.
Yeah.
You know? He gets in, cat gets in.
Yeah.
Cat's literally curled up. We could probably send him a picture of
Yeah.
it. Cat's curled up in the passenger well.
Yeah.
And so it was
awesome. There
It
was
was
bodybuilders
awesome.
trying to get in and out of it, and they were like,
Hilarious.
they were just so, you know how built they are, and they was just couldn't even close the door because of
they
his
can't
triceps.
fit.
Literally.
We actually just posted a video of it, so if they do want to see what we're talking about, it's actually, he did a great job filming and editing it, so it's actually one of my favorite videos.
It's
we've
like
done.
you're there, like
Yeah.
with us. Yeah, so it was really cool.
Yeah, and we're very, like, you know, I had that one guy let me sit in his car when I was a kid, and that's kind of what sparked, because my dad and I used to go to car shows.
Okay.
So that sparked my appeal. So I want to pass that along to the next
Was
generations.
it a specific car you remember?
It was a classic car of some. I don't remember.
yeah,
I was so young for that one, but I just know that cars was my thing. But then
Your dad into cars or anything like that too?
he was,
then?
yeah.
Okay.
We just didn't come from much money, so
Yeah.
we didn't get to have stuff. You know, I had a couple cars. My first car was a '72 Volkswagen Carmen Ghia.
Okay.
And it was bright orange, and it was awesome. You know, so that was cool. My neighbor had a '69 Camaro, and then he was really into Volkswagen, so he had like I think it was a '65 oval window Beetle, and then he had like a notchback, which most people have never even heard of, and you know, so it was just, the love was right there. And
See,
Southern
Volkswagen's
California.
cool.
Volkswagen is cool.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about those Porsches though.
Yeah. the spicy Beetles.
You know what's funny? I only
Beetles.
joke about the Porsches because I have never seen more hate for a car online right now than for Porsches. Have you seen all the short clips?
I
Hate
cannot believe that.
is unbelievable.
Yeah. So I only say it jokingly.
forced.
I love
Yeah.
Porsches, and I've had a couple. Like they're
Yeah.
awesome, but
The big thing I think that it's polarizing, right? Because like it's such
Yeah.
an amazing car, but then you see like the price tag, you're like, no, it's not.
that's been kind of the hate I think that's
Yeah.
coming down on it. They just keep,
Yep.
And then here's me, Mr. Mustang GTD, right?
Yeah, that's what that's next. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to drive like a GT3 RS or anything?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I drove a GT3 RS back in 2015 in
Okay, so the
California.
previous generation.
Yeah, so I'm driving it on like the 10 freeway, the 5 freeway, the places you don't want to drive that car. That car scared the piss out of me.
Okay.
Trying to get in and out of traffic and get on the highway and stuff because it was pretty busy.
Yep.
But it was awesome.
Oh, well, here's a question then. So, for example, I have one of my buddies. He has a couple of ACRs, like Gen 5 ACRs.
Okay.
And he got thrown into like a 07 whatever Porsche Cup car, and he says it was a very similar like raw experience.
I bet so.
Have you had any like? Have you driven any race cars like that ever, or?
Have you?
Funny enough, no, I've ridden in some, and it's that raw feeling.
Yeah.
But funny enough,
You hear everything.
Oh, you hear the sequential, you
Yeah.
hear the bearings, you hear literally everything. You hear the road noise. It's crazy, and it's funny because that you say like, have you ridden in any race cars? Because we've actually had 2 race car drivers come over here, Matt DiBenedetto and Haley Deegan, and they are like NASCAR.
Besides Brad DeVerde.
And Brad DeVerde, of course, yeah. And so we've let them drive the GT40, and they
And
get out
riding
of
it.
it. And they're like, oh, why, how can you ride this on the road?
Both of them were at separate times, and they literally both got out of the car, no joke, and said the same exact line. They're like, I've driven, as a race car driver, a lot of stuff in my day. I've never ridden or driven anything like that. Both of them said that.
And they go
Wow.
200 miles around Talladega. And
Yeah.
They get in that, and they're like, oh, holy crap.
Haley Deegan tried to take it home, too.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
both were like,
I had to swat her
I'm
hand
good.
like 6 times.
Yeah, it's great. no. Yeah. So,
Well, this is what I like to hear, right? Because that's why I asked you if you drove a Porsche or not, because I just want everybody to know that I validated in all the shit I've been saying for a long time where the good stuff is, and nobody believes me.
absolutely.
Well, can I to that point? And
Yeah,
you're-
'cause
and
you've
you're-
driven a lot of stuff.
I've driven a lot of stuff. I've
Yeah.
owned a lot of stuff. I've had the peak Lamborghinis and R8s, and like I told you guys, I bought I think it was a 2021, the Audi R8 V10 Performance,
Yep.
and I'm a diehard Audi guy, and I owned it for a month, and it bored me because it was so perfect. I hate to say that because it's a phenomenal car. Like literally, you can daily drive it everywhere. But the problem is that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that feeling. I
ruins
love
you.
that. And same with the GT500. I mean, you have one.
Yeah.
You have a track pack. We talked about this, but there's something visceral about this car wanting to kill you, but also not at
Yes.
the same time that the newer like supercars don't have anymore.
The also not is a very good point. So we have a mutual friend. So he has I think he's making 1,014 horsepower to the wheels on his, and I got to drive that on a rally for a couple 1,000 miles.
Oh my
Can you
gosh.
imagine?
That would
I'll be
awesome.
honest with you. I've never been more confident in a car in my life.
Yeah.
I've and it's
can
like
handle
it just hooks it and books it, and maybe it's because it had Cup 2s on it or whatever.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
No,
that
sorry,
has a-
Cup 2 Rs on it.
Because I don't feel as confident, and this is still
Yeah.
stock. So that probably a tire issue.
It is one.
Yeah.
What do you have on for tires?
Just whatever.
I think
Pilot
there's
Sports come
Pilot
on
Sports.
stock.
Yeah, that's what's
Okay.
on it.
Yeah.
Which I love. That's a great tire.
They have to warm up too, though.
Yeah.
And I warmed them up. So, but it's such a, and again, through the show, we get to try everything, see everything. It's really cool, right? This is still one of my peak cars. It is such a great driver. And it's actually, so I mentioned my pops has an AMG GTR. It's very similar to that.
that's
The bang for buck is
Bang for buck is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Unparalleled.
The one that came
We've
up for
talked about
sale
this
the
a
other
lot.
day.
Yeah.
There was a crazy one that came up for sale the other day. I was making 1,300 horse.
The guy has like the whole catalog of everything. 3-liter Whipple. It's everything you would want in the car. 85 grand.
Steal of a deal.
Yeah.
That's
It's
insane.
Grabber lime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinny, can I have a loan? Please.
Well,
small loan.
to that, so I did own a GT350R at the same time of owning this.
okay.
The only reason I sold that car, and that's where I'm going to transition to you. You can
Okay.
talk about it
All right.
because we've done rallies in it, Blue Ridge
Okay.
Mountain with. was I was applying for the GTD, and I was hearing rumblings that I had a good chance of getting one.
Okay.
So at the time I had 25 vehicles.
Yeah.
It was like between
couldn't
also
sit
considering
right here.
ATVs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to downsize because if I get the GTD, it's too many. It's too many.
It's gonna take up the whole garage. So.
Yeah, and it's huge. It's bigger than. It's wider than the F-150, which is crazy. I'm like, how?
Yeah, I have no idea.
But the GT350R was really kind of his in this garage. Tell
It
him
was
about
literally the perfect car. So he actually bought it in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and funny enough, the tail of the Dragon is actually on the way home. So I fly out to Alabama to
I'm
my
like, can you
buddy's
pick it up
house.
for me?
Yeah. So yeah, instead of shipping it, I was like, hey, Vinny, I'll just drive it home for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, little trick up my sleeve, and they tell the Dragon's on the way home. So I fly out to my buddies in Alabama, and he was like, oh, I want to go. Like, that sounds like such a cool experience. He's actually also one that's going to be on the GTD
Ryan?
trip with us. Yes, Ryan.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Amazing guy, good photographer, amazing driver. And so we go up to Chattanooga because he only lived like 3 hours from there. And we picked up the car and we drove it through the tail of the Dragon. And I was like, oh my gosh. That car, I did not think, and I've driven 997 GT3s. I've driven a lot of Porsches, a lot of rear or mid-engine cars. And I was like, this car acts like that. Like this car,
Yeah,
it's
unbelievable.
I would turn
I
it
hear
and I
about
was
that.
like,
It is not a Mustang.
I can
you know
still,
what I mean?
yeah, it's not a Mustang. It was definitely insane. And that car would, like, the traction control system was the best one ever because everybody's seen the videos of Mustangs crashing. I would not purposely, but you would get a little loose in the rear end, and the traction control would kick on and make you go straight. Yeah. Like, even with your foot to the floor.
Crash, actually, now that I think about it.
No.
I don't think I've seen a 350.
They're just built different. They're
just built different.
They're literally absolutely incredible. And it was funny because he showed up. I'm like, oh, it's got 1,000 more miles. Wait, how many miles is Chattanooga? 250?
250.
Okay.
How did he get
I
that?
got 1,000 miles. No, just kidding. But I love that he did that because that's what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to go, enjoy
an
himself,
experience.
shake it down, tell me all about it, let me know because I was busy or something. And
It was an amazing experience. And we actually went on a rally together. We have a little.
We took this and the 350R.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we just went out to tell the Dragon with the guys in town and
Yep.
stuff like that. And I mean, even in the rain, that car, I was keeping up with one
He was
LEs.
hauling in the rain. Like there was a moment in that car where I was trying to keep up with him in the rain, and I'm like I'm not doing that. And there goes Miller. But that's how confident that car
That
makes
car
me.
would have cup twos and carbon fiber wheels.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was an like I
I
did
wouldn't
not.
drive cup twos in the rain. That's not no thanks.
I think
Not fun.
Yeah,
Not fun.
no, I think it had Extreme Contact Sport Pluses.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
did it?
exactly what
Okay,
that's
okay.
exactly what
An
it had. Yep.
amazing car. And like, I mean, there was guys in, what do the other guys drive? 1LEs, they drive.
Oh, it was
There was a
everything.
few
It was
supercars.
Performantes.
Yeah,
It was
twin turbo Gallardo, and I was like behind them. Like I was.
He was
they,
up there-
They
up
got
their
back,
ass.
and they're all like they've been doing this for a couple years, and they came back and they're like, dude, Vinny, your cameraman can drive, dude. And you're like, we
They
were
were all
trying,
purposely coming up to me.
and they were like, we were trying to shake him, and he could not get away from us.
I was like, well, he's a great driver, but I was like, the car is just him and that car is melded together.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it does that. Like the mountains, it was the best.
It was the best
one of the
mountain
best
car
cars
I've
I've driven
ever
besides GT40. One of the best cars
Okay.
I've driven up there. The only problem is that I found with it was for street driving, it was underpowered to me.
Okay.
So it was about
Because I'm
yeah.
driving it back to back with this.
Right, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like bat out of hell but they're two totally different purposes. If I was a
Yeah.
track guy, that is a perfect track car.
Do you find this handles similar though, just not quite as well?
It
Are they
handles
really-
similar, but I don't feel as confident in that as I did
Okay.
in the 350R.
Okay.
The 350R created a
was-
confidence that was unmatched.
on rails,
Yeah,
and in the
on
Dragon,
rails.
like you could put it to the floor out of the corner, and it wasn't like you weren't losing it. It was just that right amount of power.
You put
do
this
that,
on the floor out of the Dragon, I think that was part of the confidence thing I'm talking about is
Yeah.
because it had less power and it was that high revving motor, you could really dial that in
Yeah.
on all the turns and stuff
Yeah.
and coming out of the turns. This, you're like,
You're doing
oh,
a track backwards.
Well, Simon, that we were talking about earlier.
CJ?
CJ. Yeah. He races cars, right? He's trying to import KTM expos here, like
Yep.
big race car guy. His like fun carving roads, GT50R.
Yeah, and this is a guy that's driven race cars. He's worked on race cars.
Yeah.
I think, was that a NASCAR team he worked for at one point too? French guy. Fun
Okay.
French guy. But anyways, he has the expos, and that's still what he does. So I don't know, man. I think the GT350 doesn't get enough credit.
The only reason I sold it was because
I was about to say, why'd you rip his heart out?
Yeah, honestly.
I felt, trust me, I still feel terrible to this day. But there was a point where I wanted to get down to this many cars with the GTD. And I still have one more car hasn't sold. It's coming. It's a Daytona Coupe. It's coming back tomorrow.
Yep.
Might try to sell it again. So I'm like kind of teetering on that, but it only because that is my manual rally car.
Yeah.
And most people that own the 05, 06 Ford GTs stick them under covers in a garage.
Yeah.
I drive mine. So it was like 350R or Ford GT. And I'm like, that's a tough one. You know what I mean? Like that was
It was a tough one.
No,
Yeah.
it was
Okay, I
not.
was about to say, like, hold on, dude.
Listen, that was not on the cut list at all.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm going to the mountains, which car am I going to take? Because I only have so much time. I got kids and stuff, to drive. Yeah. It's like I'm taking that every time because I'm not afraid. Like I said, I just did Corsa. I did 1,200 miles in it last week, and
Are you typically too? You seem like a car guy who kind of leaves things alone though too. So you're not into modifying, or because the 350R would have been great with a Whipple on it. That probably would have. If you were worried about it being underpowered.
Here's the story behind that. I do love modifying cars. I put a VF kit on one of my R8s and an ESS kit on another.
Oh, that's right.
The reliability comes into play when you start doing that stuff, and a lot of them. With the cars I have and the maintenance schedules alone, when you're up to 25 vehicles, the last thing you want to deal with is a modified car that requires extra attention.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of got that out of my system and then decided, hey, you know what? With the limited time I have to drive, and I love driving my cars, I drive them a lot, I'm going to keep them stock so that I can just not worried about that.
That's the reason why my GT500 sat stock for so long. Because now that you say that. My GT 2015 Mustang was a reoccurring pain in my ass for things I had to do to it. So, although the GT500 has now officially been cut up, so my goal is 900.
Nice, I like it.
Most of the time, it doesn't last long to keep it stocked. Right? We've actually been in talks with Whipple on this thing.
Okay.
We've considered it, but I mean, I've done the first year I had that. I did an oil change, cost me $188. And year two, I think I just did the major service, and it was $1,300. And I've put about 12,000 miles on that car since owning it. I've owned it about 2 years, and I've had no issues.
Well, rallying it, right? Like that's the other thing too. It's like it's basically like Le Mans across the country, dude. Like if we're being honest, like you're putting the car through its paces sometimes.
I am putting the car through its paces.
Yeah, and you find the limit of some mods sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a true, like that, the 5.4, the Whipple, like that's a tried and true, like, here's a rock solid
America.
setup. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen that car on gravel roads before. It's covered in dirt and grind. Like
it actually looks better when it's fully dirty.
It looks better when it's fully dirty.
It's
through the rain.
So are you familiar with like Lumber 21 then?
Number 21.
He's a guy, I think he's out of Chicago or whatever. He owns some sort of business, and he has Ford GTs, GT3RSs. And the second he buys a car, he goes and drifts it through dirt and gravel. He's like, I don't care, I'm driving the shit out of this car.
I love that.
I've probably seen his stuff online.
You probably
I'm
have.
Sure.
Dude. He has the cool. Yeah, it's just cool. Yeah, the guy. Have you ever had a car that you put under covers?
Or wanted to?
I've driven the shit out of every car I've owned.
Okay.
I don't think there's a car. I'm just trying to
The
think.
only car that sat was his Beck Speedster, was your Speedster.
Because I just didn't want to drive it.
That was just because it was, it
just
wasn't as
didn't
cool
appeal,
as these.
It didn't appeal to me,
But nothing
Speedster.
like Porsche Speedster.
Like a 1956.
Okay.
356, a 57, 356. But that was a replica that I bought.
Yeah.
My wife really wanted one, and I was like, do I spend all the money on an original because they're insanely priced?
Yeah.
Or do I buy something that is tried and true as a Beck Speedster? So it's kind of like the mecca of them. And I was like, if she drives it, she won't break down. I don't have to worry about her. Like, that's kind of why I did it. It was gorgeous, though.
Yeah, it was everybody came in and all, you'd have all the guys come in and then all their wives go, ooh, pretty, because it was like cream. It was.
If you want a magnet, if you're a single dude and you want a magnet, go buy yourself a 50s Porsche Speedster.
Okay.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. That or a purple Lamborghini Performante.
Yeah, of course.
So 1950s cars, do they offer financing?
Well, you could pick one up for like 30 grand.
Really?
Yeah, I think I sold mine for 52. Mine was a really top spec though.
Okay.
Had pretty low miles
Plaid
on
interior,
it. It was unbelievable.
Had a clean Carfax?
Little clean.
It was a Subaru motor, so
it was almost 200 horsepower.
Really?
Yeah, because the originals were like, what, 80-something
I
horsepower?
think 81. Yeah.
And that was the biggest complaint about them, is they're basically like Volkswagen Beetles, but in a cooler body.
Yeah.
But mine was like, little Porsche in that same body.
What do you daily drive? This?
So I switch between these. Yeah, okay. I mean, some weeks I'm just feeling it and I daily drive that sucker.
Okay.
I just don't care. Like whatever I'm really in the mood for. But if I'm really gonna lay it on something, it's trade off between these two.
So then I'm gonna ask, so as a family guy, and we are a car family, all of us, so does your wife have a car now? Or what? I was gonna ask as a guy yesterday, as a car guy, usually we use our wife as an excuse to buy a car for her, even though it's like an excuse to buy another car.
Yeah.
Does she have anything right now?
Well, no, not right now, because we're just so busy that she just wouldn't have time. But she's a big Porsche Cayman fan. Go back to the Porsche. Oh. So I did surprise her. What was this? I forget what year it was, but I think we were engaged, and I bought her a 09 Porsche Cayman S. Okay. And she loved that. Let me tell you, for fun factor, that was a fun car.
That's another bang for buck car.
We've heard the Caymans and
Boxers.
Yeah, well, never mind.
But you got to get the S.
Yeah,
the S makes a big difference.
Actually, that might be what Massey has. I always forget what he has.
I know.
He gets so mad at me every single time. He's like, I don't have that hairdresser car.
So if it's got a convertible, it's a Boxster. If it's not, it's a Cayman.
I think he has a Cayman S.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we had a blast in that car.
Yeah.
But we sold it because she got pregnant, and then it was like, oh well, that dream goes out the window. We found someone that really wanted it, and I've been considering getting another one. She really does think about it, but she's not a car person.
Did I just see her leaving a Navigator?
Yeah.
She drives
it's like you guys are clones.
We are. My wife, I just got her a Navigator, and I'm about to get one for myself.
They're the best, right?
Dude, that for what that 3.5 EcoBoost does, that truck takes off. I'm like, this thing is freaking awesome.
It's got power. It's got luxury.
Bells and whistles.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've done here to Disney World so many times. We drive 8 hours. It's comfortable for everybody. We've put both grandmas and both kids and both of us and luggage, and it's great.
It's a great car.
And it's a Ford technically, right?
Yeah. No, I bought a $2,000 piece of shit Lincoln Town Car, and that's what when we had a studio in the cities.
Heck yeah.
I was driving my Super Duty, and like people were trying to merge into me and shit. I'm like, I can't handle this. Or if I took the GT500, I'm like, F this. So I got the town car. I was like, let's play bumper cars. Let's do it.
You literally got it for the podcast.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I
hilarious.
can't stand driving in traffic, man. I'm like, I'm just gonna hit people if you piss me off.
Well, I had an F350, the turbo diesel version, up until I just sold it a few months ago because I've been obsessed with the Shelby trucks for years.
Okay.
But that was like the opposite. That was like, no, just get out of my way. Like tonnage, right? Like, so I thought, I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm going through now.
The Super Duty does give I can get on somebody's ass and they move over quicker than when I get on them with any other car.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
When I built it too, I did replace the entire suspension. We put air ride in the back. It had big wheels on it. It wasn't overdone though. It looked very, very good.
It wasn't one of those mall crawlers that you can walk underneath.
No,
It's got rubber band wheels.
Yeah, we thought about
Function
it.
over form for that one for sure. Yeah.
But so I hear you.
Yeah, okay.
I love that freaking town car, by the way.
You know what?
It's a flying couch.
As being a Ford guy, I'm surprised that I haven't had. So that's the Panther platform they call it. It's the Crown Vic, the town car, the Grand Marquis that they did forever and ever. It was every cop car, all that stuff. I had my first Panther car, and I'm surprised I haven't had one sooner. It is just one of those tried and true. It always works. It drives. Was cheap. It's full frame on car. I can get everybody in a family of 6. The center console flips up, and we can do 3 in the front, 3 in the back. It's,
rides like a
and there's
cloud.
something about those old seats. I don't know what it was about them, but you literally just sink in.
They're comfortable, right?
And you float. Yeah, that car floats.
They don't make them like that anymore.
They really
I got one as a loaner car one time, and I loved it. I don't even remember.
That's our next car. We're actually going to mod that one.
Okay.
I'm going to fully build one. I'm getting one, and it's going to get Coyote swapped. Absolutely, 100%. It's on my list of shit to do.
Roush 427 IR, I heard, is a great motor.
Yeah, but the Coyote is a direct bolted.
This is true.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that in a freaking town car, dude?
I know.
A 427.
You start it up and it sounds like that. Yeah.
That would be
Just get like a legit like chassis under it, just lock it down.
That's awesome.
Just drag everyone at the track in a town car. Oh man. Yeah, we do an event called Optima Ultimate Streetcar whatever, and some of the cars, did you see, like, what was it, a Blazer last year or something? Yeah. Just
K5 Blazer, I think won the event.
No.
Well, K5 Blazer on the outside.
yeah.
Just lay it on top of whatever
On
it
a
was.
chassis, like full race built, major horsepower. Yeah.
Lapping faster than a Huracan
Yeah.
STO type. Yeah,
Dang.
Holy crap.
Just for dude.
We haven't talked about what you're building.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
So I'm building a 93 Fox body.
Ooh.
But
I'll be back in an hour.
But you're about to not like me because I'm putting a 2.3 EcoBoost in there.
No, that's fine.
Okay,
because
sweet. I'm glad we're still friends. Yeah.
Ford motor is fine with me. And
Okay,
actually,
sweet.
I have an 86 Thunderbird Turbo Coupe,
Sick.
which is a 2.3 turbo car. And I have a
Nice.
wrecked EcoBoost Mustang. And that transplant is going to happen into
Yes,
that.
absolutely. It's the best thing.
I was
It
waiting
was
for
the best
right
thing.
time.
I've already bought wide body fenders for it, transmission. I've just got to find my 2.3 EcoBoost. But I'm going to build it solely for going up to the mountains and ripping.
That's
They,
gonna be awesome.
that is the EcoBoost swapping them is becoming way more like common. Like
Oh, yeah.
everybody's doing a Coyote, but you get a lighter car, you can get similar horsepower out of it. Like
Yeah, they can get like, I think with just a few tunes and maybe a little bit bigger fuel, and you can get like 400 to the wheels with it.
A factory ECU can get you really far, but if you're trying to get the most out of your car, you have to take your tuning to the next level. Whether you are doing a highly original LS swap or are a glutton for punishment and want to keep your rotary, a Haltech can help you extract top-level performance while keeping your car tolerable to drive. If you go to tunedbyshawn.com, you can schedule a free consultation to see what is right for you and your build, but you can also go there, save 5% on all Haltech goodies using code Minnoxide, and do it all yourself. That's tunedbyshawn, SHAWN.com. Let's get you back to the show.
all right.
Whoa,
And then you got
that thing.
You
Yeah.
got what, 2,800 pounds? I think they are, or like a little around that. But like, that's gonna be unreal. I'm
gotta
trying to
really-
build a mini 350R because I
gotta
missed that car.
You gotta
so
really
much.
pay attention. You gotta really pay attention to suspension and brakes.
Suspension and brakes.
That's
Yeah, I've already
so important. Yeah,
like
at
sourced
that
all
point.
that for
okay,
sure.
good.
Yeah,
because
so
that's
definitely.
that sounds scary in the mountains.
I don't want to take up the entire podcast with it, but afterwards let's chat because I'm also doing a 93 Cobra that's getting Coyote swapped that I'm doing full
Oh,
K
that'll be
number,
awesome.
shaved engine bay.
Yeah.
I want to put a Predator in it, but I don't want to spend 30 grand on a drivetrain.
You should
That would
definitely
be
do boom
insane.
tubes if you're doing it. Because if I went V8, I would definitely put boom tubes out the side, like the NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
like, exhaust. I was like,
That'd be cool.
I almost switched the whole project just for having that exhaust on the side exit exhaust.
So cool.
But yeah, turbo noises sound cool too.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the story with that? What did we see up there? Was that a Bronco up there? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about your neighbor and the '78 Bronco that's sitting there.
That literally everyone who drives down here tries to buy it.
The first
Yeah?
day you had it there, I was
And there's
like,
been
I
some
will
people
buy
that come
that
here
right
with
now.
money, I assume. so-
Everybody tries to buy that car. I mean, even the guy that comes over from Duke Energy that's like, hey, we're going to do some work on your property. By the way, who owns that Bronco?
Yeah, the first day it was sitting out there, I was driving down the thing. I was like, hey, ask your neighbor how much he wants. I want it.
It's a not for sale thing.
It's not for sale.
Not for sale. It is actually a customer car of the son. The son's older, but it's a customer of his and the guy. And what's funny is he will not sell it, but it sits not at his house. It sits here up the street from my house.
Does
Yeah.
he not know what those things are worth right now?
Don't tell him.
Don't think,
Yeah.
don't think he cares, which is crazy.
We just at the Detroit Auto Show, one sold for 150.
Insane.
Coyote swapped, all done up nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but insane.
I know.
Yeah,
They're so cool.
yeah. So sorry.
That's all right. I'm just drooling over all cars down here because we come from the Rust Belt. So like that truck at home would be rotted, sitting there like that, it'd be gone.
You haven't even scratched the surface yet either. I mean, you're in like American Race City, USA.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that when I moved here. So I moved from Southern California about 9 years ago. And so I was going to like Supercar Sunday and all the different car events you do in Southern California. My R8 was basically in a side lot compared to what was being coming to the shows, you know? It was like I'd park next to Jeff Dunham's car, Jay Leno's car. And out here though, I was like, I hope there's a car scene. Hope there's a car scene, right? The stuff I have seen here that is hidden or that comes out to show, like, it's unbelievable.
It's really crazy, and especially we just went to that Morrisville Cars and Coffee, and the owner of Epic Games lives in Raleigh and takes his cars out. So like you'll see his P1 or a Senna, or like he has some insane cars, and then out here it's very drag race centric too.
Okay.
And so just going down the street, you'll hear like a Pro Charger that's louder than the exhaust.
You're like, where the
and you're
hell
like,
is that?
what? I thought it was a jet flying. Like, it's just the different kinds of cars is just
Yeah,
insane.
the amount of classics you see and the quality of them is amazing because you don't get rust here. You know,
So
we
how's
don't
it
have to deal
compared
with
to the California scene then?
that. I don't know how to say this in a nice. It's less pretentious here.
Okay.
You have more drivers here.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
in LA, you got a car you take out for that and that purpose only.
Once you get on
Coffee
the
and-
10, it's like, all right, we're going 6 miles an hour.
That's the other thing. And I'm not dogging on that car scene. So I was in it forever. And I used to be with groups of guys. We'd go to Angeles Crest and drive the hell out of it. We knew exactly when the highway patrol would turn over their shifts. So
Okay.
we would be going up the mountain, up Angeles Crest on Sunday morning when they were coming down. We'd actually pass them. And then the second we passed them, we're like, all bets are off.
Yeah.
We're going.
I will say I really enjoyed driving. Oh man, what the heck were we? It was a Camaro rental car, a 4-banger Camaro. Dude, we were just ripping in the mountains over there because we were over there to pick up a Noble, the M12 GT03R. The Jeremy Clarkson car, the best car ever. But dude, that's a pretty sweet scene out there if you can get away from the traffic. So
And to
Completely
be
agree.
fair, us from the Midwest, we just assume everybody from California is pretentious. So it doesn't really matter to us.
I mean,
We don't care what you drive, you're just an asshole anyway.
I was lumped into that for a while too.
thanks, Dan. We just lost 15% of our audience.
darn.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, Southern California has one of the most epic
we're
car
headed
scenes
there
ever.
next month.
And I say it jokingly because, like for example, Sean and Ken from Autotopia LA came out here, did a couple episodes with me. They run the quarantine cruise now.
Yep.
I mean, I get goosebumps because the quality of like Resto Mod, Pro Touring, classic car builds out there is unbelievable. I mean, literally, they do. I just notch them because like I'm from there and now I live here, you know. But like they just have some of the most incredible builds ever out there. But then here you also have that. It's not
different type.
It's not as flashy and in your face. The guys bring them out and it's like, oh, you had that? I thought you were like the janitor at the school. Oh, you're a race team owner? you know, like,
Literally.
It's a different type of energy out here.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you could also speak to it because you've been on both sides
have.
of it too. So that makes sense.
But I mean, the coolest part here too is we have a lot of backcountry roads and we don't have the traffic that you had out there. So you can actually get out and drive your
you can
cars.
actually drive them.
Yeah, so you get a different type of
You're so
person.
spoiled down here.
We're so spoiled. I mean, like I said, I'm an hour from Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah.
So I'll take a day off during the week, especially I was telling you guys before the hurricane hit last year. But I would take a day off and just jump in that and just go. And I'd be gone for 8 hours or that. Like, you know, and that was my way of like clearing my brain from all the stress.
You have to actually drive those cars too, right? You can't be gone in your head.
What's it like here in like January and February?
Those are the months where
Rainy.
you kind of hibernate because it gets cold. It gets cold enough. If we
So
get
what's cold to you?
30 to 40.
No, it can get. Well, I mean, but
can
it can get in the teens.
Yeah,
it can get in the
during
teens,
the
especially at night. Yeah, and so the one thing is though that you're just worried about ice on the roads.
Yeah.
It's less about snow. It's more about ice here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
then
danger.
your tires are different.
Yeah.
Anything under 40 is sketchy on any kind of nice tire.
I would say December, like early December, is when it really starts to cool down, and that's when I stop going to the mountains.
Okay.
But like I would say March through even
March to
November, really.
Yeah,
You can
November.
go drive Blue Ridge.
And Thanksgiving is
I
like
resent you.
75 degrees.
It's literally epic.
Yeah, because for us, sometimes we'll even have snow like really late April.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had a big snowstorm right before we left for Texas 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You need to come down here.
I always say I'll probably end up in like, either Dallas or somewhere in Tennessee or somewhere down here, man.
Tennessee or the Carolinas, man,
Yeah.
especially for car guy, because you have more options to drive.
Well, that's why
Texas is flat and straight.
that's one of the cool things about doing this podcast is like I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna move to.
You just get to visit before you.
Yeah. I'm exploring myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, car world, you can't go wrong either because you have there's people everywhere. That's what I love about this community. That's why we're doing, which I'm sure you're trying to eventually point us towards. But when we get the GTD, we're planning a 6,000 mile U.S. tour in the car just to share it with the community, just because
So
the
what's
car
that
community is
look like?
epic.
What's the game
We got a
plan
crazy
there?
idea. So we created.
When do we not?
We were watching all the GTD like entrance videos, and we were like, we could do this so much better. So we did. And
By the way, before you go there, so when you apply for the GTD, you had to make a minute-long application video along with your application online. So that's what he's talking about.
You just had to clip a YouTube video of whatever. Which when I did mine, I just sent when I was on as a guest of the Minnoxide podcast, by the way. That's how I did mine. I was like, here's a link to this video of me like just fluffing Ford
Talking about
for
Ford.
2 hours. Yeah.
He's the first guest that we ever had that brought notes of everything that he has.
Well, some of my cars that I have are like, there's a rarity number to it, right? So like this is car 1 of 115 or whatever. I have ASE McLaren Capri and Celine Cobra and some of these things. So I was like, I didn't want to get the numbers wrong when I was saying, I think there was only
when
120
you're applying
made.
for a GTD.
Yeah.
So that sets the stage for now.
Yeah. So we made our video, and it's probably been up. I mean, it was probably one of the most viewed GTD allocation like entry videos. And I mean, I think we just hit it right. Like we just showed all the cars, showed examples. And,
showed Haley Deegan screaming in the GT40.
We were just like, we will share the car. And about a month later, Vinny texts me, he goes, go check my Instagram right now. And I'm like, okay. And was it Jim Farley?
Jim Farley's been liking
Followed,
all the
and then liking
all the videos
underneath.
around the. He didn't like the allocation video, but he liked all the ones around it.
And so we were like, oh, he saw it. He saw it. He had
must have seen it.
Yeah,
we were like little schoolgirls,
Yeah. And so we were like, okay, this is a good sign. This is a good sign. And he was like, okay, what can we do with it to like persuade them more into giving us the allocation?
It was actually kind of right. It wasn't really that wasn't the intent of the road journey, but it definitely was something that we presented to Ford once we thought of it, because we're like, hey, when we get this car, we're going to take it on. We're going to share it with the community if we get the car. But I'm sure Ford was also like it if we did, if we shared that with them, that we were going to do that. So we did heavily play on the application with us doing this road tour, which now I'm getting car number 38. So my car gets here next month.
Okay.
Which is crazy. So I think that also played towards being able to get an earlier allocation, because
Did you click that there was options for like, I need it now if I don't
want it
have
tomorrow.
it now? Okay. I'm gonna get in a Ford corporate parking lot and get on my hands and knees and do a toddler fit if you don't give me my car right now. Yeah.
So I had a cool experience. So in January, they picked a certain amount of allocation recipients to go up to Ford, and it was very secret. And they did it in, I can kind of say now, we were under NDA at the time, like around the event, so I couldn't share anything. They took our cell phones, but they took us in the back of the Roush factory, which even they said, there's very few Ford execs that had even been back here. And they had 3 GTDs sitting back there for us. And we got to there was a red one, a race red, that new blue, and a white one. And it was just, by the way, there was also a 2017 Ford GT that no one even looked at, because the GTD, if you haven't seen one in person, has so much presence.
Yes,
it's
so
just like,
big.
what the F is that thing, right? And it's bigger than that, bigger than the F-150. So so I go in there, and Jim Owens, he's big at Ford. He's like head of the program, and he's pretty high up with the execs, and so he's standing in there. So I walked up to him, and I've already received the allocation at this point, but I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this road tour. Can I tell you about it? It's like, yeah, what do you mean? And so I pitched it to him. So he gave me his cell phone number. So we're trying to also now coordinate with Ford outside of just ourselves to try to get, because okay, what's the farthest one's ever been driven? Probably the one at Nürburgring.
Yeah.
The hardest in the
I think they're driving them around right now to test them, but no one's going to do 6,000 miles.
Right, yeah.
So hey, Ford, by the way, we're doing this. So if it breaks down, what do I do? Can you be there for us? If I need tires, if I need this, where do I take it? What do I do with it?
Just have 3 stackers behind you.
It's actually going to be that.
We're taking the Shelby truck.
Yeah, the F-150.
Okay.
So
Yeah, as a support vehicle.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're doing 6,000 miles, yeah.
And obviously, so no one's ever done. So also part of the pitch to Ford is hey, by the way, we're also doing this because nobody knows how this car is going to do.
Right. So, okay, do you have a map for this thing yet?
Yeah, it looks like
A Ford symbol.
It honestly almost looks like it almost looks like an oval, like across the map. So
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
it's like going down into Texas, going out to LA, and then going through Salt Lake, Colorado, up to Michigan, and then back down.
Okay. Are you gonna do? First of all, are you joining him? Is it how's
Yes,
this?
I'll be
he's
driving
driving
the
the Shelby
F-150.
Okay, so it's gonna be you two.
Yep.
So obviously you're gonna be doing photos. Do you have like particular like landmarks you're trying to hit too? Like get photos in front of, like for example, like here's Wall Street, here's the Alamo,
I mean, kind of. Yes, I know
We've
that.
not thought of that.
I
That's
do
actually, yes.
Postcards, dude.
Dude, that is a great idea.
Route 66, stuff like that.
That
you
is
know?
a great. Okay.
This guy, all right.
Damn it, it just
You're
got
on the
more
marketing team.
complicated.
Dude, I ran rallies for 5 years. I know.
So
go
yeah,
ahead.
the bottom route is a very like, hey, we're going to show this car off, and once we hit LA, we're going to do a car meet there as well. But then once we go back up through Vegas, Salt Lake, Colorado, it's going to be like, okay, this is the time to get all the media because in between Vegas and Denver is probably the prettiest area of the country. I've been on several rallies that go through they leave from Denver and go down to Vegas.
Are you gonna hit Pikes Peak too?
Pikes, I mean, have to
Dude,
hit Pikes
yeah.
Peak.
I'm saying photos of some of these landmarks would be
Yeah,
freaking cool.
going through, I know so many places in Utah. I've spent a lot of time out there, and I just know so many canyons and so many like good areas just to take photos.
Yeah.
And so like we're planning on doing all the showing the car, and then on the way back it's gonna be more media based.
Yeah. We'll still stop on the way back
Yeah.
in places,
For
but
cars,
like, also
for
we
the-
want some of that good driving experience. Ford Factory was in there. We're gonna go stop there and see everyone. Hopefully we can meet Mr. Ford. That would be sick.
Yep.
You know, like some
Yeah.
stuff like that. But our intent was really just to, honestly,
the
we didn't
car.
think about landmarks because we want to like meet the community.
Right.
Like the whole point is to bring this car. People know what we're doing. We're going to do a vlog every day. So our goal is that the video is released each night which puts a lot of pressure on him and Ryan because it's like, holy shit, we just did this whole day, met all these people.
Well, that's
now
why
I
you're
have
getting
to edit
sponsored by
the
an
video.
energy drink company, right? Sponsored by
That's a
Red
great
Bull.
idea.
Lonnie, come on,
Because we're
come
not
on
looking
through.
to make money off this thing.
Yeah.
But if we can get some sponsors to like help with some of the costs, that'd be
Dude,
fantastic.
well, Red Bull would make sense, right? Because Ford, Red Bull, and F1. They should be
gotta
giving you a
reach-
whole truck full of Red Bull for this.
You're not just have the Red Bull truck follow us. And by the way, Michelin, just put some tires on it for us too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Have you thought about reaching out to for example, like Utah, Stradman? Like that.
that's we have a bunch lined up already.
Yeah, we
Okay,
do.
cool.
Yeah.
Supercar Ron.
We haven't hit up Stradman, but Supercar Ron, like more the ones that we've been communicating with for a while.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
might stop and see Andy Frisella.
That'd be
We
so
might
cool.
we're gonna try to go see Jay Leno. So there's a couple like bigger ones that I don't know if we can connect with, but we're gonna try. Because I just think it'll be special. It'll be like, hey, these are the guys driving across country with this GTD. It's cool to tell stories about it, like of our journey so far.
Yeah.
And
Well, dude, I could just like imagine getting a photo in front of like the arch, like
Be
or
insane.
is it Gateway Arch? Is that the
we need
official
to do
name?
that.
Yeah.
Let's add that to the list.
Yeah, that'll be a good video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a video every day. I think it's 17 days total.
Okay.
And then we're also gonna release post-tour collaborations with all the people we collaborate
17
with.
days is crazy, dude. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a
Well,
lot of
and
driving.
we have certain days we've planned like 8 or 10 hours of driving just to get to the next
Yeah.
spot, and then we might take a day off and spend that in Colorado, or and have the wives fly in and meet us or something.
Well, especially like once you have dates. I don't know if you guys thought about doing this, but like I've had a crazy idea of doing like a 50-state rally, right? Like just join us along the
That's
way, right?
nuts. That's sick.
That's what we've talked about.
Right, so
Yeah.
it's like, here, come join us. But if you like dropped dates, like, hey, we're gonna be in this city, join us for 100 miles or whatever. Like, just people cycling through. Because like, have you ever thought about, like, for example, like if you look at like Gold Rush or I think Corsa as well, like they have multiple legs of a larger rally.
Yep.
Like imagine like you're doing the whole leg and then you're like a whole new group, right? Like.
Sounds like he wants to help plan it.
Yeah, it sounds like.
My wife and I do that all the time, and we'll do a rally, and we'll end up somewhere like Atlanta one time.
Yeah.
We try and hit all that stuff. So I've got pictures of like her car in front of the arch, doing all that stuff. So we plan an extra 2 or 3 days to go home, and I did the whole thing in Detroit. So you're going to Michigan. Another really cool one is to do in front of all of the abandoned factories and things like that. It was really cool. I got a bunch of pictures of my car doing that.
Yep.
That's cool.
Went to the Rogue plant, and like you're saying, go to the Ford plant where they make the Mustang, and I took pictures there.
Yep.
That's where I had a guy in the parking lot look at me like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, do you not see this all the time? They're like, no, nobody gives a shit here.
Really?
You're there in Ford like Mecca, right? Like people drive Fords, they're all over the place. There's Mustangs, like nobody gives a shit that the factory's
That's
right there.
true. That's true.
So yeah.
Have you Because, like, for example, like I have a number of friends in the again Viper world where they went and they picked up their ACRs, like the, you know, the 1 of 7 deal or whatever, like that. I think it was talked about on VinWiki, but like, have you thought about like even just starting a Detroit sort of deal, or would that just be too crazy because you can get delivered?
Our community's here, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a launch party here somewhere. Let this community come out because it's like representing Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it's our home base. So that's what we want to do. There's a lot of people who have expressed they want to drive with us.
Right.
2 things. One, we're trying to be careful of the liability side. So I don't want to announce rally status. So my pitch is going to be, listen, we are driving from here to here. I can't stop you from following us. The car will not go past the speed limit. We're going to set when it's just us, like, you know, it might be different.
You'll observe.
Observe.
But the thing is, we're worried about is the other people. Because imagine you have
wanting to race the GTD, like, you know what I mean?
Trying to race us and then spin out, you know, like it's
something.
People are going to try to get mad content because literally car number 38, a lot of the big influencers have pushed their allocations back. Like we talked to Shmi a few weeks ago. Oh, really? He actually pushed his back a year. Well, because of the madness with tariffs and all this other stuff, no one really knows what's going to happen.
True.
So but I've decided just to push through. And so who else is going to have one that's number one, going to be driving it, number two, going to be doing content with it. So we're nervous that people are going to be looking for that like moment, that Instagrammable moment, that viral moment with the car.
It's always going to be an Infinity or something that just, you know, like a G37, just it's not trying to blow your doors off.
So we're seriously thinking about that because we don't want to be that supercar fails GTD. You know what I mean? Because all of our intentions are good, and it just takes one person to make that, to screw it all up.
And that's where the social media thing can be a little tricky too, right?
Yeah.
Like you do a tour of America and then drop it after, but then it's like, how do you share this? It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, and we want to. So every place we stop, there's going to be an event, and we've talked about just doing it at a Ford dealership because how am I going to plan out parking lots or the right business park to do it in? Because we think we'll have.
And that's where working with like influencers kind of helps too. Like they could deal with that city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be also to be a Ford dealership? I think Ford's more likely to get involved too.
True. Yeah.
And then we'd have safe storage. That's the other thing we got to be careful of. Is like, yes, we're staying the night at Atlanta, but we're not going to tell you where the car is, and I'm not parking it at a hotel.
Right.
Like it's going to be in somebody's private collection somewhere.
We've had great hotel experiences in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Seriously.
But it's an easy car to spot too. Like like you said, it has presence.
Yeah.
It's literally a billboard. Like
And people are going to see it and go, holy shit, there's a GTD driving through Atlanta right now, and then all of a sudden that's out in the ether. People are looking for it.
It's so funny. So we had Lingenfelter on the podcast last time we were in Detroit, and they were talking about like, we had 10 ZR1s parked here, like one of every single color, right?
It's amazing.
And they're saying, it's just a ZR1, because they're so used to it over there, right? Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm curious to see what the final production number is going to be on that. I've heard rumors, but who knows, right?
So I talked to Jim up at this thing and asked him specifically about that, and they're not certain. I mean, all I can say publicly is that based on my conversation is probably around 1,300 is probably realistic because ramping production up, they're probably only building 100 cars this year.
Yeah.
And this is year one. They wanted to ramp it up to be able to build 700 a year. I think
I heard 1,000 a year is a number I heard too.
Yeah, he said they probably won't get to that. They think 350 a year is doable, but 700 is probably where it lands. But it also depends on the CEO of Ford and what he ends up doing, right? If he stays, because this is his baby, I think he wants to see more of them. Where the allocation recipients are like, we want to see less of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Stop at 1,000.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest fears is doing that and then not have it appreciate in any way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's tough, right? Because it is a sizable chunk of change, like to anybody.
Well, and then when you look at like if you took that same amount of money, the cars you could get with it. Not that the GTD isn't amazing, and again, I'm a Ford fanboy through and through. I bleed blue, but there's some pretty fucking kick-ass cars you can get for.
But I've owned those cars.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what. It ain't going to be as cool as the GTD.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't mean that as like a fanboy-esque either. Like, you get to a certain point with buying a certain level of car, and you can say you've kind of done them all.
Yeah.
And then like, well, what else is there?
Right.
You know, that's when you start getting into stuff like this or race cars or all that stuff.
So as somebody who's not indoctrinated,
I think you mean like both of us?
Hey, I was born this way. You converted.
This is true. I did convert,
which is I think even cooler, to be honest with you.
yeah, converted.
It's like I became Jewish after marrying my wife. I married into Ford.
Dude, I feel like it's got to be like an Adam Sandler or a Kevin James movie. I can't remember. Or David, I don't know. One of those guys. I'm trying to think, like, where it was like a whole conversion thing, and they're like, you know, dunking them into water or whatever. Like, I need to find that movie later. A lot of movie references this trip. But no, as somebody who's not indoctrinated, like, you have to look at it objectively. It is, since the Viper, let's be honest, it's the best thing that's come out of this country.
Completely
track-wise, right?
Yeah.
Because the Viper held the record, and you can go like, oh, it could set a faster track with better tires, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Like, if you look at the Carrera GT, it did 10 seconds faster on modern tires, right, at the ring. We're talking about a sub 7 second car. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe it's a few seconds slower than the Porsche, but it's still the freaking coolest thing that's come out of this country in a while.
Well, also, I can't drive that fast.
And there's that too, right?
You put me on Nürburgring, I'm doing 12 minutes, or like whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
You'll
like,
have your blinker on for the turns.
I will. Or I'll be like, come on, pass me. You know, like let's be like, there's no ego here, right?
I kept doing that on the track with his car last year, by the way. Took his 500 on the track and kept hitting the turn signal.
That's funny.
But like my feeling behind it, my feeling, and actually I wanted to talk about this on a short, was that for me, I didn't come from anything financially. I've built this, right? And now I'm Ford guy, and I love driving these cars. And for me, it was very special to be selected, and because I didn't feel like I had a chance. And now I'm getting one of the first cars. I'm like, what did I do to deserve this, right? So like, to me, it actually signifies like my journey in life. So for everyone, it's personal, right? Did you think you were gonna get an allocation? Like,
no,
you know what
to
I
be
mean?
honest with you, and again, I was punching outside my weight class, and like, but I think what I really like that they're doing is I think it went to true like enthusiasts or like people that love the brand.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah,
that's what
which
truly
made me like that justified it for me. I was like, you gave me one, okay, that means something. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and so that's why I feel the car is so much more special too. It's because you feel a little bit of pride in being selected, right? Because we don't think we have a chance, but also like. Then there's another side of it. So there is a lot of like, I don't know why the car's getting so much hate and hammered right now on the internet.
Because people do that to everything.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Mustang by name, right? But let's really think about what the car is. Yes, it's built on an S650 platform. Mm-hmm. The S650 goes up to Multimatic Factory. Then they tear the whole damn thing apart completely. And basically like should have started from scratch. But then it's like all carbon fiber body, a true 50-50 weight distribution car from front to back, rear transaxle. They put a freaking window in the back. You can see your suspension working. Like, there is so many cool things about this. It's not just a Mustang. It's definitely not a C8 with a body kit that put 1,000 horsepower in. Now that's a cool ass car.
But I was going to ask you how you felt about the ZR1. Now I know.
Let me tell you, it's cool as hell. Don't get me wrong. Best bang for your buck car right now, in my opinion, is a C8. Right? Like it's dope. Okay. But like. I was at the auto show before I went to the special Ford Roush factory experience of the GTD, and they had the Spirit of America GTD, and they had an S650 Mustang, a dark horse, right? And I look and I'm like, they're not even in the same league. Like they don't look the same. If you've never seen a GTD in person, you don't really understand what the presence of this car is. And then behind it, they had a C8 and a C8 ZR1.
Or the Z06 and the ZR1.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if it was a 06, it was a convertible.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They look the same with a little extras.
Yes.
And again,
that's how I felt too.
Super cool, right? Super cool, but it didn't have that like, oh shit presence to it.
So it's kind of like when you look at a Cayman and the new GT3 RS, they're the same.
That's a perfect example.
To answer your question though, like what is it with the hate? I think it's two reasons.
Okay.
I think one, obviously the price. Oh, it's just a Mustang, like you said, right? That one I don't care about. I think the one that gets a lot of people going is like, you know what that saying is like, if you're gonna come for the king, you better make sure he's dead.
Never heard that before.
Well, it's like you know, if you're gonna try to kill the king, make sure he's dead, or whatever the phrase is, right? When they called out Porsche and all these guys, you know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, and granted, what is it, within 2-3 seconds, something like that? Something within a few seconds at the ring. Again, we're not gonna get anywhere near that time. So who cares, right? But like, there's just something to be said. It's like, you know, if they didn't come swinging so hard out the gate saying we're going to destroy you, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit. It might be part of that. So I think that's where it comes from.
That's a great point.
But also people just
people are like $400,000 for a Mustang. No, $600,000. What the hell is that? I'm like, it's a race car.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a cheap
GT3
race car.
It's a GT3
to be honest.
car.
Yeah.
What's a normal GT3 race car cost? $1 million?
$700,000
$700,000
to campaign it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a
They
million
said
to
the
run.
same thing about these cars when they came out too, right?
Yeah.
120 grand for a car, like, yeah, but people were lining up, and some people were paying 50 over MSRP for it. So like, obviously, some people liked
And
it.
I'm choosing one over an R8 or a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Like I have the means to not own this car, to own something else.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah.
this is an awesome car.
Yeah.
So we had one of the first GT500s in the country to go on my rally. Like he literally got delivered
6 miles.
6 miles. He did his break-in miles on our rally.
That's awesome.
We drove through the Black Hills, like Mount Rushmore area. and
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah, South
we
Dakota.
took it to Pikes Peak and everything, and then we went to PPIR over there, the racetrack. And dude, like we had a McLaren on the rally and everything, and I'm like, dude, the Mustang is just hauling. I'm like, that is a supercar in a Mustang scale.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
There's very few cars that you can't put that right in the ass of, for sure, or past it.
Okay, that's a phrase.
You know how many people have tried to shake me, like on shit that we're doing or rallies or whatever?
A lot of Chevys trying to shake us.
Sorry.
So this is the way, that's a perfect example. Supercar and a Mustang body, right? That's the way I described the GTD, and that's what I don't think people have really caught on to yet. Yeah. It's actually like a Ford GT in a Mustang-looking shell.
Yes.
That's really what it is. It's built in the Multimatic factory. They just built a brand new Multimatic factory where they built these. Like that's what the intent is.
Yeah.
But they branded it a Mustang.
Right.
So like you have to like look at the big picture. But I think most people online, just like anything, the recent article was like $600,000 for a GTD. It was like, that's clickbait crap, right? And then, but everyone's now bought into, I'd never pay 4, let alone 6, and all the hate's there. And you're like, well, I spec mine for under 4, and I have a great spec GTD.
Yeah. Well, it's like Dan always says, like, you're not a car guy unless you can give each other grief.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Totally.
As long as we can all
we bust each
agree,
other's balls everywhere all the
as
time.
long as we can all agree to hate on GM, I'm fine with whatever.
Okay, well, there goes all of our tomorrow's listeners. No, I just think it's. I think the price is the big killer. It's like it's that much for a Mustang. I think that's like, again, like Dan said, when this car came out, $100,000 for a Mustang. To be honest with you, I think the GT500 is worth every penny.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I think it's best bang for your
And
buck.
I hope the GTD is the same, and I think it will be.
I think it will be.
Is it a Ford?
Is it a Ford?
Is it a Ford?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Because like it's just like
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what context you're asking that
right,
question.
because you know, oh, you take it to Multimatic, you reskin the whole thing, and it's like that's another one of the arguments. It's like, oh, it's not really a Ford. I'm like, all right, who cares?
No way.
But then is that a Ford?
Right. Exactly.
It
Is the
is
new
because
Ford
of
GT a
what's
Ford?
sitting in the back side of it.
No, but I guess that's the way I'm thinking about
Yeah.
the question. You know, like the Ford.
I think it's a Ford.
Yeah, I totally, hands down.
Yeah.
I think it's actually one of the mecca Ford, in my opinion, because it's almost representing what that represented in the 1960s in a way, right?
Yeah.
Mustang's trying to make this comeback in the racing ring, and they're doing a pretty good job. And then they release this car to signify that.
It's a purpose-built car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and the only reason I ask that is because like I see comments, dude, and so
I just laugh.
I'm
now.
not sure how many comments you get. You probably get a sizable amount as well, but I get like anywhere from 15 to 20K a month. And I'm like, I can't read all that, but man, sometimes I do, and somebody ends up at the top of my stack, and I'll just drag them, you know, every once in a while. But
The OEMs, when they build specialty stuff like that, they outsource that a lot. Every OEM does it. It's a thing, you know.
Look at Toyota with their Supra, the new Supra. It's a BMW powerpoint. So like,
That's a great point.
I mean, which brought a lot of
Oh
hate
my
online.
God, yeah.
So like,
it's
I
still
mean,
a meme.
And now people love the car. So you just have to get past the initial grief, and then you have
that is one of the
lovers.
best. Like that is up there. I should really be careful where I'm saying this. That is up there with Coyote notability right now. The B58 platform is insane. They put it in everything. We talked about this with Gus. It's in every tier of BMW.
Yeah, that's true.
You need like junkyard B58s 10, 15, 20 years from now, they're gonna be everywhere. Everywhere.
It's going to be like a new SF20.
There's two things.
Uh-oh.
I gotta go back to the Ford thing because when you ask if it is, that 4.6, when they went to that mod motor, not that the push rod stuff isn't great, but when they went to that platform in the 90s, That is still this Coyote infrastructure and the Predator, and which is what's in the GTD. That is they're doing the dual overhead cam, that all that stuff. That was, and sure, maybe they got it from, they were getting European inspiration and their JDM stuff. Cool, but they did that, right? That's their platform, and that's what's in that car. Second of all, you could be a philanthropist that saves puppies and gives them the homes, and somebody would be like, why don't you just leave them in the wild where they belong? So it doesn't matter what you do or what you say online, it doesn't, people are gonna hate no matter what.
And that's my approach with it. I didn't develop the GTD. I'm not personally offended by any comments because that's not, like, I have nothing to do with the program. I'm just lucky enough to be a, what do you say, like a babysitter of the car until I die. You know what I mean? Like, I just get to drive and enjoy it. That's my feeling about it. Like I am just I forget the exact word I'm looking for.
Caretaker?
Kinda, yeah. Like I can't take this with me when I go.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it while I'm here, right? So that's how I feel about the GTD. So like when people say things, I'm like, it's not personal, but for me it's personal. The car is personal because of what I told you, earning to this part of my journey. Living in a place where I have opportunity, where I built something that was of value enough to get me to this spot. And now I'm gonna go take that thing that I think is so special to me, and I'm gonna share it with all you guys in the community.
Right.
I'm gonna let you sit in it, I'm gonna give rides in it, we're gonna drive it across country, we're gonna do what's meant to be driven with that thing and do it justice.
Yeah.
That's why, to me, the hate comments are just funny, because I'm like, I know what this thing means to us and to me. You know what I mean?
Can't wait to put it on.
Perspective.
If you want to talk about also for it, I guarantee that motor that's going to be in the GTD, you could take it out and bolt it right into my town car. if you want more,
You're looking for, is that why you applied for one?
I just want the drivetrain.
Could you imagine? I think you should do it. You would break the internet. You would break the internet.
I will say this for Corvette now, right? Because I don't want to sound too hateful of them. Whatever the hell they did with this ZR1 is insane.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
I've heard rumors of what they ran at the ring too. It's impressive.
If it beats the GTD, I won't be surprised.
And the fact that you can get that and just go up to BP and put pump gas in it and do that is
insane.
It scares
So
me.
listen, we all talk shit about each other, and I think they should have done more to separate it from a regular C8 in design.
Okay.
But it is one killer car.
So,
yeah, but then it probably would have been $400K too.
Well, no, it's already going to be $400K with the dealership markups.
Chevy dealership.
Don't get me started on that shit too.
Did you know that about the GTD, by the way? They don't mark them up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they should.
No,
Yeah.
because
It's
the
not
allocation is with the individual, not with the dealership.
Okay.
So if
0.1 Ford over Porsche.
right,
You remember how much they were marking those things up?
that's
dude?
crazy. But
That's why we didn't get one.
I don't think the community understands because that wasn't really public for a while. But what happens is Ford pays the dealership a flat fee when they take delivery of a car for a customer. Okay. So the dealerships are actually seeking the allocation owners to earn their business. Oh. So if I go to Ford, Timbuktu, wherever, and they go, by the way, we're gonna upcharge this $50,000. I go, oh, okay, cool. The one in Detroit won't do that. And I take my allocation and I go to Detroit.
Nice. Okay.
So that's the difference. So that they're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's public information now?
Well, it's been on little comments, so I hope it is.
So you're not the first to release it?
No, I'm not the first to release that. So don't get on me. I mean, you can easily look and see people talking about this all over. Yep. Yeah.
To your point earlier about the C8, so we went again to the Detroit Auto Show. That was my first time at the Detroit Auto Show, and you see that Spirit of America. I was lingering.
I wonder if we just missed each other. I went on Friday.
We went on a weekday.
Yeah.
Was it Thursday or Friday? Oh, we left earlier in the week.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah.
No,
It was on a whim thing. Like we were like, what should we do? We had time in between pods.
Let's go see Vinny. Damn, we missed it.
But so anyways, I went to go check out, and I was lingering around the GTD for about 10, I was like inspecting it, right? And and it was the Spirit of America or whatever. I'm like, this car has presence, blah, blah, blah. And I went to go check out the C8. I'm like, there's got to be a ZR1 here. I really want to go check this thing out. And listen, I got friends at the OEMs over at GM too, and it's like, it's cool, but I was kind of underwhelmed compared to the GTD.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
It felt like a beefed up Corvette rather than like
Exactly.
like a marvel of engineering. It didn't feel like that.
I felt like it was a quick response to what Ford was doing.
Potentially.
And I don't know if that was, I don't know if that's really the case, but that's how I felt about it when I saw him at the auto show.
To be fair, I think they probably had that idea for a while. That whole platform is engineered to. Again, if they do this whole Zora thing that they're talking about, that'll be cool. I hear a lot of if that's just a beefed up E-Ray, I think it's gonna be sweet. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I drove a C8. What was it? The R model before the 06 came out.
I heard those are amazing.
I had a blast driving it.
Cool
It was,
cars.
in fact, I even looked at the guy I was riding with. I'm like, dude, this is a Huracan. That's what it felt like. It felt like a Huracan, and it went everywhere you pointed it. Had great power. It was comfortable.
Yeah.
It literally felt, because I've owned I had the Huracan and the Performante, and that was what it reminded me of more than anything. So I was like, good job. I was like, good job.
A mid-engine car is already pretty kick-ass too, right?
Yeah.
To begin with.
Well, the fact that the GTD has a torque tube is new to me too. So.
Yep.
Well, Ford solved it by making it 50-50.
Yeah.
Because even when we were there and Jim Owens was talking to us, he's like, you guys don't understand, this is a true 50-50 weight distribution car. Like, we designed it that way. It took a lot to get there, too.
I'm sure.
I was like, damn.
Well, it's kind of like the Gen 5 Vipers. It's like, I think it's like 48-52 until the driver sits in, and then it's a perfect 50-50.
That's
Wow.
I think it was something like
cool.
that, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for Corey.
Yeah, because but, okay. Well, I'm excited for you to get that then. You'll have an official date. This podcast will probably drop, I'm guessing, the week before you get it. So.
Oh, really? You think? Okay.
Roughly, I think
Cool.
so. If you're expecting June, we'll see what happens.
Well, June, probably towards the end of June.
Okay, yeah, this will probably be like a few weeks before then.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, so this is how, and this is why I want to talk about it, because I think this is really the most special thing we have going on right now that we're doing. But they deliver the car to my house.
Okay.
They send 3, 4, 5 Ford engineers and people with every car that gets delivered. They send them down. They spend 2 hours with you going through the car, telling you all the ins and outs. Because it has active aero both underneath in the front and in the rear wing.
Well, CarPlay too.
Here's how you sync your phone.
1 hour on CarPlay.
CarPlay, the rest of the car,
But they actually come here, so we're going to film that whole experience. So we want to bring the viewer in the car community to see what that's like.
Right.
Because how many people are going to get to experience that?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I should experience that, right? So I was like, it's cool. And then now we've changed a little bit because our detail guys were going to come wrap the car in PPF in the garage, and we were going to film that. The problem is now, though, Ford's saying 30 days. And literally it comes out of paint, gets finished, and then it's like at my house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm like, okay.
Wait a little bit. Yeah.
But then we're going to do an unveil. We're going to do a huge unveil party. So you guys are obviously invited. I told you that. And then as soon as we have a date locked in, we're going to do it within 2 weeks of the car arriving. And we have some pretty, you're like, who's going to show up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I've got to take Vinny's phone away from him for 2 weeks because he will be like, "Oh, we got to post a reel about it right now." I'm like,
Yeah, we're not showing the car until the actual unveil party.
Yeah.
And then we'll film the unveil party so people can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be pretty. And then immediately, I think the break-in miles are going to be to Tail the Dragon. We've already talked about it.
Yep.
Because it's 247 miles or something from my house to Tail the Dragon. I've heard that the break-in's 250 on the car. So literally, we're going to do that.
Dude, should be broken in.
We want to be the first GTD through Tail Dragon.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And we're going to film that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about have you met well, he doesn't count, other guys with allocations?
Yeah, we have a bunch of them. It's funny because the allocation recipients, a lot of us have found each other.
Yeah.
Through either.
I've run into a few, and it's
It's
really
like
weird.
Tinder for allocations.
For a car that's supposed to be that low production, like even just on the job site the other day, another guy that I know is a big Ford nut, him and I were chatting,
That's
and he's got one too. So I'm like, all right.
Well, it went to normal people that will really appreciate the car.
Yep.
What do they call it? GT grinder? GT grinder?
Grinder. That's
the bad side. I don't know anything about this.
I download the app for sure. I might even pay for the subscription.
Well, it's all going to be dudes. That's the problem.
Still sold.
Grinder is for dudes.
Well, that's a good point. I wonder how many chicks got it on
We
allocation.
do know one down in Florida, a chick who drives it. That's her name. She's got Lamborghini Aventador. She got one of the new. She has like a Mr. Chrome color on her.
GT500 too, right? Or no?
No, she has a drift Corvette.
Cool. That's right.
Is it a C5?
C5. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Badass. If you've never seen her, go look for a chick who drives it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think she has a YouTube too. So she's been firing up.
Okay.
But Yeah, super
I wonder
cool.
what her spec will be. You don't have to disclose it. If you
No. She hasn't gotten her window yet. Her window's coming up.
Okay,
I
so
think July.
26. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's how Ford did it really interesting. So the first, what did they do? The first 100 cars were this year. So they selected the people that were going to get the first 100, and then I think the allocations go out to 2027.
Oh, yeah. I saw something about that.
Receiving car. Yeah.
Maybe I still have a chance.
You can also delay your allocation.
I'm gonna talk to
can.
them. Mine. I'm supposed to get my email in like November to April. They like gave me like a
perfect.
5-month window
Yeah.
of like we might contact you within this amount of time. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, we'll contact you in June, Vinny, and then next thing you know, I think it was March. They're like, hey, we're here. I was like, awesome.
Okay, yeah. That's sick.
But so have you, for example, like you said you went up to Detroit or whatever. So is everybody else as enthusiastic as you are about it?
There's a lot of guys who are, and then
A number of flippers too, probably.
you can't flip.
Well, it's gonna be a 2-year
2
wait,
years.
right?
You flip after 2 years.
Yeah, you can flip after 2 years.
Yeah.
There's probably people trying, but even, I mean, there's a lot of dealerships that didn't even get allocations.
Yeah.
Because they had to apply just like us.
Yep.
You know?
So it doesn't go through because they had you pick a DSO, so like a dealer or whatever. But so they're gonna bring it right to you here. Is that only like a first few cars thing, or
No, everyone that takes delivery gets the car is, you can choose. You can
Okay.
take delivery at your dealership of choice, or you can have it delivered to your house.
Okay.
And I was
Oh,
like,
cool.
I was like, bitch, right here.
right here, I'm cool with that.
We're getting the horses out back.
They're like, can you accommodate? They're like, can you accommodate a 100-foot trailer? I'm like, I don't know where it'll turn around. So we'll have them drop it in the neighborhood like we do. And we'll just
Yeah.
drive it
Dude,
over.
you should like put him like on a gravel road. Be like, yeah, we're dropping it right here.
drop it in the pasture.
Because the
I do have a
dealer,
gravel road right here.
I live in a bigger town, but the Ford dealer there sucks because it's a big dealer. I go to a small town dealer, is who I normally buy my
Yeah.
stuff through, and I couldn't even imagine their mind being blown having one of those dropped at that dealer. So
Well, the dealer also has to be approved.
Yeah, they may not approve this
Yeah,
one, but
so
yeah.
you want to check with them to see if they're approved to receive it.
Interesting.
They call them selling dealers. So a selling dealer, from my understanding, doesn't mean they can sell GTDs because you can't. No dealers can
Yeah.
sell GTDs, but they can accept delivery of the GTD, and you actually pay your money to them, and then that's looped to Ford.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm allowed to share all that.
If we have to edit it out, just let me know.
No. I think we're good. So now here's the thing about this. They like, I feel like we're like CIA, being watched by the CIA. Like it's literally, because have you signed your NDAs or anything?
Oh yeah, you have to do that step
Dude,
one.
it's like
Yeah.
really.
I even printed it out. I was like, do I need to have a lawyer look at this?
Yeah, I checked with the concierge and with Ford in the very beginning. I'm like, what can I share and can't? Like I have an Instagram presence, right? What can I share? They're like, anything that's not public, don't share. That's the simple part of it. They checked with their attorneys and they got back. So they're like, don't take pictures of your configurator. Don't like talk about pricing of individual options, like stuff like that, right? It's just kind of common knowledge.
Yeah.
Then I saw some people start posting some stuff. I'm like, you should probably take that down. They're like, no, we got approval from Ford before we did it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. There's a couple guys online that you've seen posting configurator footage.
Yeah.
It's because Ford told them they could.
Interesting. Well, you gotta leak it a little bit too, right? Build the hype.
Yeah.
Because part of it is hype. Like, yeah, it's only gonna be whatever 1,000 or 2,000, however many cars, but it's like, you know, there's however many Bugattis in the world. You still get excited about those specs. Like,
True.
I don't know, man. You still want the hype out there. Otherwise, a Bugatti wouldn't be a Bugatti,
That's true.
Yeah.
right? If it never saw the light of day.
I'm surprised they haven't contacted us to leak more
Yeah, I'm shocked. Yeah.
because we're very outspoken about it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so.
No, I still think like that freaking teal Cobra color would be one of the sweetest colors. There's so many, when you go some of those like classic like Ford colors, dude, it'd be, I hope some people did some cool
I
stuff.
really wanted this color.
Dude.
This
This
one of-
color
this is
would have
like-
been beautiful on the GTD.
This is one of the like everybody goes nuts over spec. The Heritage, Brittany Blue.
It'd be high.
I have I'll take this to the grocery store. I have old ladies in parking lots. Like, man, I've never really liked Mustangs, but that's beautiful.
pretty.
You know what I mean?
That's the new like wife lover right there.
wait, hold on.
When guys come over and bring their wives, that's that's the new car. Since
It is.
The Porsche
wives
is
love
gone.
this too. It's
Yeah.
the color. Something
It's
about
the color.
it. So if you're looking for a wife, Porsche Speedster,
Or a Brittany Blue
Heritage Edition.
Okay, I can take a loan on this one.
If you want the Gold Digger, you get the Lambo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's another sweet color? I had the opportunity to see like a Lamborghini balloon white on a Viper. Dude, that color is sweet.
Is it awesome?
Dude, if you could see that color in person, that would be something sweet. I don't know, man. I can't wait to see the specs that come out.
Yeah, and you know, for mine, I'm not revealing my spec
Right,
until
right, yeah.
you guys got the privilege of seeing it, I guess, because
Yeah.
you're here.
Yeah.
But like, I'm keeping it totally hush. Until
I think
thing
that's
shows
smart.
up.
I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
cool for a reveal.
Yeah.
I'm a little pissed that the surprise is ruined now, but that's fine.
Wait, you told him?
Well, there's a picture somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wonder what the worst color is gonna be. There's gotta be one.
Black.
Well, if you can,
It'll end up on
Dude, it
worst
looks
spec.
so awesome in black.
Yeah.
Do they actually look good in black?
Dude, I don't know. Well, the one at the ring I think was black, if I remember correctly.
It is black. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Dude,
I guess
it's
you're right,
sinister
you're
as
right.
hell.
Sinister.
Sinister.
The only
With
problem
orange
with black
lights.
that I see is it deletes a lot of the accents.
The body
because there's a
lines,
lot
yeah.
of black
Yeah.
accents on the car.
True.
So I've never seen a black one in person. I'm sure it looked great.
I'm sure they'd look good.
But the other colors I've seen, I have not seen a bad color. So I've seen a bunch of them now.
Someone should absolutely do British Racing Green.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
That would be a
that's not
beautiful
far off
color.
of Eruption Green, which is a Ford color that I
Oh,
really
that's
like.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
true,
keep in
yeah.
mind, British Racing Green has 9,000 different shades.
That's very
Every company has a different British Racing Green. It's like, which one is it?
I wonder also how many people are going to do stripe delete, because if you look to the GTs, that the stripe deletes are worth a little bit more because they're rarer.
This car would this car would suck without stripes. I love stripe.
I don't know.
Agreed.
I've seen like a black one without stripes.
No,
that-
black looks great, but I'm saying this color without stripes would never
Oh,
work.
this one.
So
Yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah.
seen
It's good
3
separation.
GTDs without stripes, all in
Yeah.
different colors, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And the stripes are the same as the Spirit of America, and that's
Yeah.
public. So if you order it with stripes, you get that. There's also other things you could do to the car, which I
Yeah.
won't share because that is top secret. Apparently, I'll probably get shot leaving here if I share it. So
Instead of a laser on your Ford, it's
Yeah.
a blue Ford logo.
yeah, a little
You just
Ford
see a
logo,
laser.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you see a laser logo Ford, no. There's some cool, but I think the stripe delete car looks.
Yeah.
the
It looks
best
awesome.
from the configurator. Yeah. Although the carbon option's badass.
Yeah.
And there is one carbon car that is public out there. It's like a maroon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sick.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that in person to really take it in
Yeah.
before ordering, but
I don't know
it's
if I
also a
was
really
sold
expensive
on
option.
it. Yeah, it's a I don't know, man. I think a solid color looks awesome. Like for me,
It does.
ultimate spec, like for me, GT500 and probably even a GTD is that red, like that bright red, white stripe.
Yeah, that would look sick.
That's
Kind of like the Shelby.
I have seen
the new
I've
Shelby
seen the
cars.
race red
Yeah.
GTD.
That's
in
one of
person.
the rarer colors in the
It's pretty cool.
GT500 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a red car guy mostly, so to me it didn't do it for me, but I
Yeah.
could see the appeal because it had presence.
I got the least tickets in a red car. I don't know how. That yeah, they say if you have a red car, it's just easier to spot.
Yeah. Do you want to transition a little bit to rally life?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about the GTD for 45 minutes.
I know. I'm sorry. Miller's like, I've heard all of this before on the GTD side.
The GTD is awesome.
No,
We're excited.
I guess the way we'll wrap that up is like we can't wait to meet a lot of you
Yeah.
and share this car. I think it's going to be really exciting for everybody. But rally, why don't you start off because you've been in the rally scene circuit.
Yeah, you introduced me to it, and it was a
Crown
thing I
Rally.
couldn't kick. Yeah, no, I did. I've done media for Crown, or I guess for just rallies for 5 years, 6 years
Yeah.
now, and
2018.
2018. Yeah, and it's like summer camp for adults. It's like summer camp for car enthusiasts. Like you get to go out, you meet new
That is
friends.
the most epic way to
You get
describe
to have dinner. You get to like go and do all your different activities, and you come back in and you share your day. It's literally summer camp for adults.
And you try not to die and you try not to get arrested.
That's It's
like a big game of cat and
plays
mouse,
that
too.
line. Yeah, it's a cat and mouse game. Yeah, but I mean, no, just going on all the rallies is awesome. It's like you get that same feeling from summer camp. But doing media for it, it's very cool too
Not
because
band
you get
camp.
to see. Yeah,
Summer
not band camp. Yeah, we don't talk about what happened in band camp. But yeah, no, I mean, just being on the inner workings of rallies and stuff like that is really cool. And then Vinny's taken me on a few where I was just a participant. I'm like, wow, this is cool too. Like I got to see both perspectives. But
Yeah, because like we talked
Rallies
about,
are-
he took my
rallies are my
350R and was actually a driver in a rally
Oh,
too.
sweet.
So he's seen the whole gamut. And I mean, you run rallies.
Yeah.
So like you get it. And
Well, I've done
you
it
go
as
rally.
participants on other people's rallies. I've run them. I've done photo. I've done every side
yeah.
of it. Yeah. Besides volunteering, I guess.
So we our favorites lately, Corsa, obviously. I love Corsa Rally. I love the people on Corsa Rally. If you haven't had a chance to look into Corsa, if you're watching, look into it. Huge bang for the buck.
Yep.
I'm not sponsored by them. I just love them. I just think that I've just had so much fun.
You'll send them an invoice after.
I'll send them an invoice. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely sending this link, just link and then a PayPal request. Yeah.
But we have one locally also. It's funny because we have a really tight community here of exotic car guys, and we're all in threads together and stuff. And they started one called CLT Speed, and it started off, one of the guys, he started track days and then ended up also adding a rally.
Okay.
So like 4 times a year, it's either track. Well, I think they do more track days than that, but 4 times a year, like the main events, and they'll incorporate a rally. And we've had a ton of fun with that. So that's another one that people can look into. Just called CLT Speed.
Okay.
At CLT Speed on Instagram.
Yep.
So that's been really cool. Crown, obviously. I haven't been in Crown lately though, so I can't really speak to it.
I'm curious to see how it shakes out. Asa, I've chat with him every once in a while, the new owner of Crown.
Yep.
But we'll see. It looks like a number of events sold out, so we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. I've been invited on Gravity recently. What are some of the other ones?
Rally,
Ace of Spades.
Yep.
Gold Rush invited
Gold
us.
Rush. It's just some of them.
There's a lot now.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of rallies.
Yeah, and it's like one of the guys from back home, he's going international. He's doing one in Japan, and it's like...
I think I've heard of that one. Yeah, that was so sick.
Yeah,
That's
G-Force.
crazy.
Yeah.
G-Force, that's the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him and I
nuts.
started right around the same time.
Oh,
So like
cool.
we were like kind of competing, but then he just took off, and I was like, yeah, I lost a lot of money. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But no, dude, there's just something. There's like really nothing like rally life. Now we're gonna do our first drag and drive, hopefully soon. But like, which is like
Awesome.
it's like rallies, but with more race car stuff.
Yep.
And
Speed
like,
Week kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of like that sort of deal. So that's kind of appealing because it's all everybody we've talked to is like, yeah, it's like a rally, just more race car shit. So that'd be kind of cool.
Is that the one Vince does?
No, I think that's what.
Is that climb the mountain? Is that
It's
Hill
race
climb?
the rally. Or, there's something.
There's something that we're like it shuts down that area for like 2 days.
Yeah. I'm trying
And it's
I don't think it might not be that, but like more like the drag weeks type of stuff or whatever. So
Drag
like
week.
yeah.
okay.
They take their drag cars and then put like a little trailer behind it with extra tires.
Oh,
and then
really?
They go and race.
Oh, I've never
and
heard
then
that.
you
Oh,
see who
if
can get
you
the
haven't
fastest
seen
time.
Dragon Drives, you gotta look them
No,
up.
I
Yeah.
have not seen that.
Yeah, so cool. So like for example, a guy we recently had on the show, he has a 2,500 horsepower Nova, right? And he will take that. It's a 300-mile little trek, and you do like basically go to a smaller one would be 3 drag strips.
Okay, I'm tracking
Yeah.
now.
And then you would take the average of your
I
whatever.
was thinking Tail of the Dragon.
Okay.
You said Dragon Drives. I'm like, I drive
Oh,
Dragon all the
yeah,
time. The hill, that's why I said
Yeah.
hill climb.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
hill
yeah.
climb's a big one up in the Dragon. Okay,
Yeah.
we're talking about the Dragon Drive.
Sick
Yeah.
Week is probably the biggest one out
Okay,
there. That's like
okay.
in the Florida area. So yeah.
Yeah.
Is it for?
Well, I think they around that
migrates.
area, around this area. I guess I forget where I am right
Yeah,
now.
Michael Narks is shouting at the windshield right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So that's like one of those things. It's like so that's the next thing we want to try because it's like that rally life, but
Yeah.
more race car oriented.
I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. We should check out Corsa though. Sounds pretty
Definitely
legit.
for sure.
You need
I
to,
also am
hands
working.
down.
I want to work my way up to One Lap of America. I don't know if you've seen that one or heard of that one. So it's
No.
road courses, and it's a week long of drive a day, next road course, do it,
That's
drive
sick.
a day.
I thought it was
yeah.
18 days.
Maybe it's really long.
I saw Dodge posted something about 18 days recently. That'd be kind of cool too.
Is that the one Dennis Olthoff was telling us about?
I think so.
So
yeah, that's
he
nuts.
he drove a Shelby Cobra, 65 Shelby Cobra.
Oh, really?
And what they would do is they would race, like a full-on race, like competitive.
Yep.
Then you have to drive to the next racetrack.
Yep.
And then you have a full-on competitive race. And
But
he won like 2 years in a row. He's
Yeah.
beating Lambos and all sorts
But
of
he
stuff.
had like no roof.
No
Like,
roof.
He didn't do it with
Yeah.
a roof.
The cops came up one time because they were pulled over in the middle of the night, and he was sleeping in the Cobra with his feet over the literally over the side, and his passenger was asleep on a park bench. And the cops were like, "What are you guys doing?"
We're racing. Yeah.
Like literally, yeah.
That's a special kind of crazy.
In that car
Well, he's
too,
kind of
like
a
that,
legend.
yeah.
He's awesome.
He's the one I was talking about earlier that owns Olthoff Racing,
Yeah.
and his dad found out last night. I don't know how his dad raced the Daytona Coupe in the '60s. Yeah,
No way.
no shit.
At the like, holy crap.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's where the long
The heritage comes from.
But yeah, he's kind of like one of those secret race car
Yeah.
legends.
We've got one that involves that car up there on the lift. We'll tell you that. It's an off-camera
Okay.
conversation.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Sick.
Dude.
Yeah. Him and I left there and we went, I don't know what just fucking.
I'm crying. Okay,
Yeah,
anyways.
almost. It was, anyway.
Anyways,
Is it repeatable? Is it something I need to repeat, or is it like?
We'll tell you after.
I'm so excited now.
Yeah.
off camera for sure.
Like they were camping. Remember the picture of the camp,
Yeah.
the guy that camped with his GT40 that like put something
Oh,
over the
yeah,
side door.
yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of people have been saying you need to like recreate that.
Oh yeah, you should.
Put it in my pasture.
Do it with the GTD.
Yeah.
I got a roof nest. So we'll just get you some roof bars and just open the roof
Camp
tent
on
and
top
have
of the GT.
Just get some sea suckers and put like a bike rack up there with a.
So here's the deal. Like
Okay.
Dan knows this best. I'm really good at coming up for ideas for other people.
Me too.
I'm great at spending other people's money, their time.
Me too.
We've
You
been
and me
known
are
to
the
just
same,
we've
yeah.
been known to be good at just executing other people's ideas.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well, as we kind of start, we're coming up on. We are at 2 hours. As we start to
Holy
wind down, yeah,
crap.
dude, car guy talk, man.
Holy
As
crap.
we start to wind down, man, what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of?
Holy crap, that's a deep question.
I know.
Do you want to start?
Shoot. Goodness gracious. I'd say just the memories, I guess.
Okay.
Like I get to tell my grandkids about times like these. Like, hey, we used to sit in the garage and talk for 2 hours just about car guys. Or just talk about we get to have this connection with people who live states away. Like we get to the memories I think you get to share is what I'm most proud of. And the content I've created and inspired other people. I think that's my biggest thing is what I always grew up being inspired. Like I had the first car I ever was like, oh, I'm a car guy, was I sat in a Vantage. We were driving back from my grandparents' house and I saw a Vantage. I was like, Dad, pull over right now. And he didn't even need gas. We pulled him to this gas station. This guy with his Vantage let me sit in it. I was like, this is crazy because it's an Aston Martin. It's got all the shiny little things right here. And I'm like, I will have one of these. And so like he inspired me, and that was my goal, is just to create that for somebody else. So I think that's what I'm most proud of, is being able to inspire people.
That's awesome. The one that brought you into the car world, that's a biggie, right?
Yeah.
Like you just like pull up as a guy with a Mustang or a Camaro.
Yeah.
Just a Vantage.
Yeah, it was like I was playing it was my era of playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, and like that's the car I always chose, and I was like, that's the car.
Awesome.
So like it was cool. It was really cool. But I was like, I have to buy one now. They're a little unreliable, but like I'm gonna have to get one.
Are you talking about like not the AMG powered one, but the Aston?
The
engine
Aston
ones?
powered one,
Yeah,
like the what is it, V12 or a V8? I can't. I
think
one
the
of the
Vanquish is a V12,
The
I think.
Vanquish. Okay, so it was a Vanquish. Yeah.
Dude, that car in this like similar color to this is one of my favorite cars ever.
Yeah, it was I'm pretty sure it was a Vanquish, but like
I can't remember.
still just beautiful car, and I was like, I gotta have one. I gotta do something to create something to get that.
And you've done a great job of building yourself up and creating,
Yeah.
your channels and other people's channels. He hasn't told you the depth of how big he's created for other people, up to millions of followers for
Really?
some.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could talk about that later too.
Yeah,
Sure.
that'll
But
be
like
one.
he's been extremely successful in this space.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been fun watching him grow
A
too.
lot of nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of late nights.
Well, do you want to touch on that real quick? We'll put you on pause.
Yeah. Go.
Sure. So I shot photo and video. I was going into college. I was like, what do I want to do? Like, I'm going to college. I guess like I need to figure out something.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do I want to do? And I was like, well, I like talking to people. I like being social. It was like against my parents made me do it against my will growing up. So I was like not a social person. So I was like, this will help me be more social. And so I started doing photo and video. And I was at this truck show in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay.
Most redneck thing ever. But I was like, you know what? These truck guys love pictures of their trucks.
Oh, hold on.
It's-
Carolina squat. We're
Yes,
down here.
It was
Yes.
It was just got
Banned, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay,
it's
thank
banned
God.
now. So I laugh every time I see a squatted truck pulled over.
exactly.
But yeah, this was the era of the beginning of squatted trucks. And so I was down there, and this kid came up to me. He was like, hey man, I need help setting up my camera. And I was like, oh, dude, for sure. Like, I'm a year into this. I'm like, sure, I'll help you get out of auto. And I'm over here shooting like manual mode, like it's cringy, harsh, color edits and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, you want to help? And I was like, yeah, you want some help? So I just helped him set up his camera, which was really, really cool. So we stayed in contact, and about 6 months later, he called me. I graduated college, and he was like, hey man, I've got a buddy who's like a YouTuber. He's gonna be the next big thing. He needs an editor. And I'm like, I only know how to edit pictures. Like, I don't know anything about video and stuff like that. And
people think it crosses over more.
But he was, and he was like, no, dude, like you're perfect for it. And like, I know you said you wanted to do YouTube because like camera guys just talk. And we're like, oh, a YouTuber would be so cool. And I grew up watching YouTube, like watching daily vlogs of like Roman Atwood, daily driven exotics. And I'm like, I got to do this one day. And I was like, oh, this is like an entry into that world. And so at the time, this guy did like hunting content and four-wheeler content. And so he was like, hey man, I need an editor, I need a cameraman. And at the time he had like 500,000 subscribers. And I was like, holy crap. Like I saw his money he was pulling in, and he was like, I'll give you this much money a month, and then like we'll explode. And like, so about 2.5 years later, he was at 1.7 million subscribers.
Jeez.
And we posted during it. So I joined the fall before COVID. We grinded up, and about COVID hit, and it was like 600K. So I had grown to about 100,000. We were like, this is gonna be crazy. COVID hit, and nobody was allowed to do anything anymore. And so we were like, holy crap, we gotta be outside. And so we started making this off-roading content. Mecca. And so everybody's like, this is what they're doing at home because they don't have anything else to do because everybody's stuck home quarantine. And we were like, oh, we're not gonna care. So like, let's show everybody that we're still having fun in this crisis, essentially. And so we posted every other day, averaging 600 to 700,000 views every other day for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we were traveling states, we were collaborating with a whole bunch of people, and we grew from 600K to 1.7 in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so it was just crazy. I mean, it was like sleepless nights. And so after a year and a half of doing the same thing, I was like, holy crap, I'm getting worn out.
Yeah.
Met a NASCAR YouTuber, Haley Deegan, and I was like, oh, she's traveling. Now I got my mindset of like, okay, I've grinded, I want to go travel now. I've done the same thing over and over again for a year and a half. And so I traveled with her 26 to 30 weekends out of a year for a year, and I was like, oh my God, this is way too much. This is crazy. Like, this is crazy. And so I reeled it back after that, and just kind of, I was like, you know what? I miss freelancing. I miss making my own schedule. And I was like, step back from that. And since then, I've like got several different clients I go to a week. I create my own schedule. I travel with my wife. And so
I called him. I'm like, hey, do you want to just bring a camera on Tuesdays and do dumb shit? It's like,
and so Tuesday, like Taco Tuesdays, we went and got tacos every Tuesday, and like we just created this, and with several people, I've created this cool connection world of like, hey, Brad, you should meet Vinny. Vinny, you should meet Brad, and like trying to intertwine my whole world and stuff like that. And so now it's grown to this cool media company I didn't mean to create. And where
he has his own YouTube channel that's pretty big too.
Yeah, do my own YouTube channel and help out my friends with theirs and be a character and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm getting to live that world that I wanted to live in so many different aspects. Vinny is a car guy, he's a developer, he's like does all this cool stuff with planes and all this stuff. Brad's off-road racer, like they build custom cars, so I get that world. I go to SEMA. And then like in my own world, I get to travel and meet cool people all across the country. And so I'm like, I'm getting the best of all of it. So it's really
He
cool.
comes to a development meeting one time, and because we're mostly doing car stuff, but he's at my office, and like after I was pitching to this guy, I was like, after we're done, I'm like, do you know who that was? He's like, no, it was one of Robert F. Kennedy's relatives. And he's
I'm like,
you know what I mean? Like,
what?
Like, so he,
we're like,
I was kind of like, oh shit, okay, I'm pitching to him right now. So, so he was looking at buying some of our buildings. And so the cool thing is like, he comes in, he's totally unassuming, but like if you hear his rap sheet of what he's done, it's incredible what he's built. And then all the experiences he's got to have, like between hanging out with me or Brad or whoever, it's like, if I was a kid and I would be like, holy crap, that would be amazing to be this guy right here.
It's been really cool. And it's like he said, the relative of RFK. Or we went to SEMA the other year, and the creator of SEMA's son is good friends with a friend of ours. And he's like, hey, I have this really cool person you guys are going to want to meet. I walk up and it's Cody Walker. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I didn't take I'm like, I know so many friends of friends and stuff like that. And I think that's one of my specialties I get to offer to people that I work with is like my connection list too. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, I kind of have a similar story where it's like that all came from a camera.
Exactly. I was generous to somebody, but like just good intentions.
You never know what things will lead to.
Oh yeah,
dude. The biggest thing I tell people. So detailers and photographers, by the way, don't you get into rooms you should not be in, and you get to meet crazy people. But like, I used to go to car meets, and then I would find people's like Instagram tags. I don't know if you did the same thing. And it's like, just hey man, can I just email you a full res photo sort of deal? And like that's how I built up like my client list.
That's how I met Vinny. I was like, can we just shoot this like after that?
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Car's overheating, and he's like, yeah, we can go take some pictures real quick. And like we went out and shot some pictures.
Yeah.
And then here we are.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's freaking cool.
It's cool world. Cameras and cars.
It's fun too because he's in here so much and in my life so much. We open this garage and we're in here with these cars.
Do you live far from here, by the way?
I live like 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's in here. We're both just totally desensitized to this lifestyle, right? Because like we look at each other one night and we're like, can you pinch? Like, can we pinch ourselves? Like, what is going on?
We reel each other back into reality.
We're still those little kids, those little broke kids that like just are so excited about cars. And then we walk in here, we're like, fuck it, let's go rip that thing today.
Yeah.
In fact, you got in it the other day and you're like, I remember why I don't ride in this anymore.
Yeah, it makes you sick. It's like
Wait,
riding.
he doesn't ride in it anymore? Or?
I do, but we were riding in it for a long time, and I was like, okay, yeah.
He rode in it on a rally. He rode in it on Crown Rally with me.
Yeah.
For a full day before it broke down.
Yeah, then you went to a chiropractor after. Sort of deal.
Well, the thing is he opened the door to wave the cops, like after he left Minnesota, and the top of the door, like, because he opened it at like 70. And the top of the door, the top of the door, like
I was waving to the cops.
Came off or something. Yeah. Like we missed a part, and it was just flapping the whole rest of the time. And so you got 500 horsepower in your left ear, and now you got a flap on. It's a whole experience.
This was back when this car had problems. The car's been sorted, in recent years. But literally, you can't make this shit up. I'm driving it on Crown Rally, and we're in a pack of like 5 cars, and the car breaks down into a funeral home. Literally dies in the backwoods of middle of freaking nowhere. And I rolled and I'm like, where am I gonna pull over? And I pull over to the left. I'm like, there's a funeral home.
How fitting.
Great time.
I spent like 4 hours at a funeral home. All these people were coming to look at the car because it's broken down out front. And like, would you like to come over for dinner? They're all like backcountry farmers. I'm like, wait, are you having me for dinner? Or are you having me over for dinner? Some of the places we drive through, it's like,
oh yeah.
It's kind of like dealerships. Sometimes they'll have like a nice car to like, get people into a dealership. I'm just saying, great advertising.
Great advertising. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's fucked.
I did Crown Rally again the next year in my other GT40. I had a Mark I. It was a dark gray, and I did 2,700 miles in 6 days in that GT40.
That was sick.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Okay, because I'm gonna lose this question. What's the difference between a Mark I and a Mark II then?
There's quite a bit of differences.
Okay.
So the Mark I was the first gen design of the GT40. The Mark II has better cooling. So if you look at a Mark I, it has a single side scoop. It has less cooling for brakes and whatnot. And it does have other,
wide body.
But this one you can see it's got the dual scoops. I mean, I did a whole video on my YouTube channel, because I owned both at the same time.
Okay.
And I walked through all the differences. It's actually pretty interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see.
So if you want to check it out, watch that.
I was looking at your channel a little bit more yesterday because I've only known you through Instagram. I'm like, he has a YouTube channel. What the fuck?
We just started for fun too.
Yeah.
And it's we've done a lot of really cool shit on there.
Hey man, if all of our Instagram followers would go and see the YouTube channel, that would be great.
It's
hard
cool
to hard to transfer. Yeah.
We get the comments a lot. That's like, this is like a really underrated, because we're not like promoting it. Like I really don't care. I mean, literally, we do it just to have fun, and we just bring a camera.
That's usually the best stuff, though. That's how stuff grows. Like I tell Dan this all the time. I'm like, people give me suggestions on who to have on, the length of the podcast. I'm like, I'm gonna do what the I want.
Yep.
Yesterday we talked to the Porsche guy. Last week our episode with the monster truck chick. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I
saw that,
I'm
yeah.
just interested in all this. Like, I just want to learn.
Well, it's so funny too, because I've seen people on your channel. I'm like, shit, I've been following that person
Yeah.
forever. It's interesting to
That's
hear
cool,
a
yeah.
long form version of what that person is all
Going
about.
beyond the meat. That's
Yes.
like literally what the back of the shirt says. That was the whole thing. Because like you go to a car show, you talk to somebody for 5-10 minutes, and then somebody's like, "Hey, Vinny," takes you away from that person. Or the only time I would really get to talk to people is if I go to dinner with them, right? When else do you get to sit down for 2 hours and get to know someone too, right? So yeah.
That's cool.
It's weird because most people never reach out to me to talk about an episode, but they'll reach out to the guest to be like, "Hey, dude, I saw you were on there. That's awesome." Blah blah blah.
Well, when ours fires back up, we'll have you on as a guest because
that would be
this
cool.
that's what this is. This is my GT40, and then it says WYDD. It's not what would Jesus do. It's
That's a
what-
funny way to spell it. Jesus. It's DJ.
Although if Jesus was here, he would probably choose that car. So it's What's Your Daily Drive was the name of my podcast.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
actually
yeah.
talking to entrepreneurs. We did 7 episodes. We've temporarily paused it so I can refocus on the business just temporarily.
It's tough.
We have a lot going on right now in the development world. But yeah, when we fire it back up, we'll have you guys down. It'd be great.
Sick. It's like kind of a play on like daily drivers and like what you're. It's really cool.
It's actually not about cars.
Especially when you said entrepreneur thing too. Like
It's what
what's your daily
drives you
drive?
in life.
Yep.
Yeah, but it just plays into this. So anyway, yeah,
I like it. I like it. It's pretty fun.
it's fun. Yeah.
All right, what are you proud of?
Oh crap! I forgot.
He thought he was gonna get out of that question.
So I've tried a lot of things in my life, and I've built a life I'm really happy with, right?
Okay.
And but I don't feel like I'm anything special. Like I put one pant leg on, at a time, like
You don't
everybody
just
else.
jump into both.
The reason
There's got to be a better way to do this.
There's got to be. Yeah, wait, hold on. You got more money. There's got to be a better way. Nope, one leg at a time. Damn it. But it's funny because we were looking at this picture I have that one of my followers painted on the back wall, and my dad, when I was 5, he had his first heart attack. I'm 43 now. And he had 72 heart attacks before he died. Some very major, put him in the hospital for a long time, some minor. And he was a big, loving Italian guy, but his saying was, if you're not having fun, what the hell's the point? And I always lived by that saying. And I'm proud of the fact that as traumatic as I'm finding out that was, as a kid, reviving your dad all these times, thinking that's normal life, right? I'm proud of the fact that I was able to live out, instead of living like this, like scared, worried lifestyle about watching him die so many times and bring him back. Instead, I chose to just do everything. That's why I've been a pilot. That's why I've been in the Army. That's why I drive cars. That's why I enjoy, these cars aren't about like, hey, look at me. These cars are about, dude, I just fell in love with the driving experience of that, and I want to get out and drive. It just happens that it's also cool. You know what I mean? Like that's, so I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm just kind of proud of everything that's kind of come to a T at this point in my life, I guess. Also, I'm really into people.
Yeah.
I like talking to you guys. I like having 200 people sit in that car.
Dude, you
car
gave us a hug when we came here. I was like,
He wasn't taken
who's
back
this
by that.
Midwestern mother?
He's shaking my hand. I'm like, good to see you.
I think that's one of the people that are really into rally stuff. I think that's one, like a lot of them are people persons, right? Like that is one of the, you want to go out and drive your car all day, but let's be honest, the afterwards, like you get to your hotel, you freshen up, you want to get down to the bar, have a drink, get ready for dinner.
Yep.
And then it usually ends up out by the cars. You're drinking beers out of the trunk of a thing. I have pictures of a friend sitting in the front of his R8 with a cooler, and we're having a great time. I've done rallies before where I had one where we didn't get back to the hotel till like 8, and then dinner was at 9. I was like, this needs to be done at like 5, 6,
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're ready for beers.
That's
and
right.
we're gonna talk about all the shit we almost hit, all the cops we outran,
That's
and all
right.
the stuff that happened during the day.
Allegedly.
I generated.
We've been
Out
on
on L94.
We've been on rallies that have run long, and I'm like, okay, we've driven enough. I've driven for 8 hours already today.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the most direct route? Oh, cool. It cuts off 2 hours. Good. And I get there, and I've got an old fashioned, and there's like a couple other guys that followed me, and we're having the best time.
Yeah.
Because we've already done 8 hours of driving. I don't need to do 13. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm with that's.
And it's
Great
not
analysis.
8 hours of cruise control in a Camry. It's not.
It's 8 hours of,
I am tired.
There's different rally people too. There's people that will be at the front of the pack, the back of the pack, and the middle of the pack, right? And I am definitely one of those people that I need to be in the first few cars.
Listen, you
or-
sons of bitches up there, because
Yeah.
I usually like to be in the middle or the back, because you know, like the amount of cops. Oh, last week I was on Corsa and I'm like, that's the 8th cop I've seen in 5 miles that's waiting for me to come around the turn.
You almost want to be, middle's not bad, but you don't want to be at the back because now all the cops are on fire,
if
right?
you get
It's-
caught in the
yeah.
back and you can't catch up,
Yeah.
because the cops are everywhere.
Yeah. The front people are the ones that are alerting everybody. They're calling it. All of the Karens have called now. Everything is on fire. Yeah.
I was at a gas station one time on Crown Rally, and I was in the back of the pack. It was a 2,700 mile road trip, and this lady runs out of the gas station screaming at me, like screaming. She's like, "I'm calling the cops." Blah, blah. I'm like, "For what?" She's like, "You're one of them." I'm like, "I'm doing the speed limit the last hour. What are you talking about?" But I'm getting harassed. I've been pulled over in the back and then been like, I've done nothing wrong, but they've been like, "But you tell all those guys up there." It's like, I don't know them. We have the same sticker, but I just met them today for the first time.
It would have to happen all the time, dude. Well, even on like our small ride, like, yeah.
You want to know where the limit of setting the cruise control is in this car? I think it's 150. Anything after that, it won't let
I wonder
you
how
set
you,
it.
how you know that. I didn't even know that.
Oh,
cruise
yeah.
control that fast. That's awesome.
By the way, when I first bought this, I was used to the radar cruise controls, so I set it, and I was getting really close on the tail of this truck, and the car wasn't slowing down. I'm like, what the f- why isn't it slowing down? I just slam on my brakes. I'm like, oh, that's a good way to find out I don't have radar cruise control. Almost wrecked it. That was on the way back from the
hilarious.
dealer when we
Yeah.
bought it. Remember we went up there?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you almost crashed there. Then.
He was following me in my F-350.
For the things that Ford has in like the 2020 and up, some of the bells and whistles, this does not have those.
This does not happen.
I would get in his F-350 Platinum, and I was like, man, this thing is nice. I get in that, I'm like, where's my cruise control? Why do I not have Sync 3? Like, what is going on here?
Well, the 05 Ford GT doesn't have anything. It doesn't even have cruise control in it.
I was asking, do you have cruise control?
Yeah, I know. So I drive it on Corsa Rally, and I'm like, oh, damn. I'm like there's a 10-mile-an-hour window in that car because number one, you can't tell how fast you're going, so you have to constantly pay attention. But when you're doing 13 hours of driving in a day, your foot control.
He's got a machine back there in his gym that just works out.
Dude, I've had like my knee will get sore, my ankle starts to hurt just from driving that much and doing that kind of driving.
And when you're in a manual, you're doing both.
He was saying something about the other, just yesterday, he was like, yeah, I looked at one of those cars, they only come in a manual.
GR Corolla.
He's like, I think
I
that
love
would
those.
He's like, I think it would have been cool to daily drive. I was like, have you ever driven one in traffic? Because you'll hate every single moment of it. It sucks so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do it. Get
Yep.
it.
Especially, those are old cable driven and
tell
all
you
that
my
stuff.
plan.
Oh
Those
yeah.
are even worse. Yeah.
Everything is mechanical.
Yep.
Yep. The 350R felt like it was by wire or something.
Yeah, the 350R had a very.
They're a
good
hydraulic
balance.
clutch, and yeah,
That's
they're a
what
lot
yeah.
nicer.
Yeah.
That Trimic.
There was something about that like it would kick it, like you had the pedals
There
all
was
the way
like-
out here, and then it goes.
It
Oh,
was pressure, and then stiff.
yeah.
Like it was.
This is
cool.
like fully. This is so easy. It engages right away.
Really?
You just feel
Okay.
it. Yeah. Yeah. That
The
350.
cable is a little bit better for that kind of feel.
Yeah.
You have to get used to because every clutch kind of lets go at a different spot.
It
so,
does.
Yeah.
It does. Yep.
But when you drove the 350R hard, it was the perfect pedal
Yeah,
for
it was
it.
great.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
because you could just like let up right until that mesh point, and then you're just grabbing another gear, and it was fun. Good car. Great.
Yeah. Sorry, we totally got off topic.
Is that fine?
Well, very proud.
I'm very proud of Ford.
This has been my favorite podcast so far.
We talked Ford the whole time.
yeah. And we've had a Ford engineer on, so yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, I keep looking at this car. It's like they could release this today.
Yeah, they could.
They really could.
could.
Like you would not guess that's a 20-year-old car. There's only a handful of cars. The Viper's one of them where
Yep.
it's timeless. Sorry, Gen 5's timeless.
Gen 5. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, man, you could just, this is one you could
It
release
is
today.
funny that 2 of my pick 3s are in this garage right now. Pretty much. I mean, I think I said the second gen of that, but after hearing the things I've heard, I would go back to that and then throw a diesel in that and we're on.
Which I just sold.
Yeah.
I just sold my diesel version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's something, you check that out after if you haven't gotten to see or like mess around with one.
Oh, yeah.
They're awesome trucks.
I love them. My wife wants one really bad.
Yeah.
They're pretty sweet.
Inside, they're very luxurious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it-
going to surprise you.
Is this the same one that we rode in with Garrett?
No, that was a Super Baja.
Oh,
that was
Super
the Super Duty one.
Okay, gotcha.
That was another thing. We ended up with just some people in Vegas, and this guy who showed up at a table, and the people we were with were just ripping him. Like, it was like I was like, who is this guy? Like, they must not like him at all. Well, it's American Muscle HD.
Oh,
I don't know if you know
Massive
Garrett.
I know.
They did not know these guys
Garrett.
like that. Yeah, Garrett. Huge following. And then we're like, all right, we're going to go to this hotel, which is across the street, by the way. But no, we're going to go out front and get in a Shelby Super Baja, who somebody had borrowed to Garrett, and we drive across the street in it.
There's
About
8 people inside
8
the actual
people.
cab.
2 or 3 in the bed of the truck.
That's awesome.
Yes, I'm like, why? We could
Why?
walk here faster than what we just did.
Pay for parking at a different place.
Yes. And then we just rip out at valet, and they take the truck
That's
away.
so funny.
It was pretty awesome.
Well, as we start to wind down, is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
I don't know. I think we covered.
I
I mean, this is only
Yeah.
part 1 of 14. So.
You did say
I think we
14
could
hours.
make a 14 one too.
Well, I think it'll be exciting to have you guys come down.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to building our relationship. I really love meeting you guys in person, and we'll get you down here for the unveil of the GTD,
Yeah,
and then we'll.
definitely.
I think maybe what we can do, and you tell me, it might not fit your channel, but post 6,000 mile US tour, maybe we sit down again.
Yeah, that'd
and
be kinda
we'll-
cool.
and we'll do an episode on it.
Yeah. Are you going to come up through the north side of the states or probably
Detroit.
Yeah, we're going to Detroit.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. The problem is, I don't know how much time we're gonna have because I feel like we're gonna spend a lot of time there.
Do you know
and
how
then be
long
like,
the
"Get
trip's
back to-"
gonna? You're thinking about scheduling the trip for how long?
It's like 16 or 17 days total.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's one point where we're gonna have the wives fly out to Colorado and meet us.
Okay.
And then
Solid.
do a day or two there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
get back out.
Dude,
so.
do the freaking postcard thing, man.
That's a great idea. I love
like
that.
we'll have to make posters from each
That would be
state.
awesome.
Or like movie posters even.
I'll take those pictures down. We'll do a GTD wall next.
I'm
or
just
somewhere.
saying, how cool would it be, dude,
Be
is
awesome.
if you go to one of these meets like Utah or Colorado and a kid sees the GTD and then like Pikes Peak, whatever, that could be their poster, dude. That'd be cool.
awesome.
Sell them for
Okay,
like
we
a
got-
cost or something.
Yeah, we'll do movie
We'll
posters.
do it.
Postcards,
Yeah.
We'll do it.
You know how like Whistling Diesel, like he'll destroy a car and he does little like boxes of sending out
Yeah.
the parts, something like that.
It'd be a great thing we could like offer as like a thing people could buy to help with some of the cost of the trip too.
That's very
We're also
true.
thinking about doing a wrap on the car that would be like all the places we're stopping or something, and like we can like put. I don't know. We're kicking
Kinda
around
like
all
that.
sorts of ideas.
Yeah.
We've got a friend of ours back home that does a lot of burnouts, and during COVID he did this birthday burnout thing. He's got a Z28 Set 427 Camaro,
Oh,
fifth gen.
we're talking about Paul?
Paul.
Do you know Paul Rohde from
Crown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
at Crown.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
He's
the
always
best
got a
guy
different NASCAR style wrapped Camaro.
Oh, awesome.
Anyway, he just goes through tires like you would not believe. So when he has kids like that'll hit him up on Instagram or whatever, he'll just like send him one of his old tires. He just like
That's
ships it to
cool.
him. He's like, here you go.
That's awesome.
yeah. I mean, what else? I think it's probably actually a shitty thing. It's probably an EPA thing. He probably should get looked into for that. It's a good way to get rid of tires because they cost you money.
I want to figure out a place to wrap on the GTD too, so people riding it can sign it.
Yep.
We want like we do with the 4GT with the right side, how
Yeah.
people sign it. We're gonna do in the GT40. He just thought of this the other day because I've had so many people have the biggest smiles riding in that. Underneath the door, we're gonna do a wrap with some sort of hard back, so I can later frame it. But everyone that rides in it signs the GT40, stuff like that. Just fun.
Just gotta tell them, make sure you sign right there, not over the side. That'll have to get cleaned off.
I'm gonna ride it. I'm just gonna sign right on the dash.
Right next to Shelby.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan was here.
I was gonna say the little window on the back where the coilovers are or whatever. Just do expo.
Oh,
That's wipe off. but-
Yeah, that's not bad.
Or just hit it with some PPF.
Or PPF something.
It'd be cool if you could wrap it around the back seat.
Yeah.
We'll explore
Yeah, he
this
doesn't
more
want to
and
not be
people
able
can
to
sign.
see the cantilever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw cantilever suspension and signatures.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty dope.
Maybe
You
the
can do it on
frame.
the DRS too. I don't know. Yeah. Like open sign. Not sign. Sign. Not sign. Well, cool, man. On that note, do you want to pop the usual 3?
Yeah, we got 2 guys. This is gonna go on for a while anyway.
Yeah, this is gonna be a Minnesota goodbye type episode.
All right. So at the end of every episode, we like to ask our guest or guests to pick 3 cars. I need a daily driver, a track car, and a
I've
show
always been
car.
wanted to ask this before. I've always seen the ones that like on TikTok where they're like, all right, what's your dream 3-car garage? I've never had the chance.
You
to
first
answer
then.
that.
Well, hey, by the way, you have an unlimited budget. Money is no object.
Yeah.
Swaps,
So
whatever you
what
want.
was it? Track car.
Track
like
car,
daily?
daily driver, and show car.
Okay, so daily driver RS3, the new gen RS3.
okay.
I'm very in love with the Quattro and all that stuff, and they fixed the Haldex and stuff like that. So daily driver RS3 for sure. Track car. That's so hard. There's a lot of cars out there. I'm gonna skip to the show car, and I think show car / mountain car. Can I do that?
Yeah.
997 Turbo S.
A what?
997
Okay.
Turbo. Yeah, I think that'd be perfect. And then track car. Holy crap, that's hard to think about. Probably 350R. yeah. So yeah, that's my 3. I think that would be my.
Yeah.
3.
It's a great
RS3.
list.
It's so
It is.
diverse.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. So yeah, I think that's my 3 cars.
Does a daily have to be practical?
Oh yeah, it's the daily.
We've had some crazy dailies.
You have a crazy daily. It's a GT500.
2 of the cars on my list are sitting behind me. I mean, there's no,
Yeah.
I have the cars that I would do that with. I mean, GT40 would be my track car, hands down.
Okay.
I've tracked it many, many times. It's phenomenal. I'm glad I haven't died in it. This car. So that's the thing, because it's like also could be a show car, but these are definitely 2 that would be in that lineup, the 054 GT and the GT40. A daily's going to really surprise you. Because
It's a carbon Gia.
No, it's an Audi R6.
No way.
That is my favorite.
The
I am
Avant?
obsessed. I
Yes.
have not added one yet because that. It's like I can't justify another. It's kind of like when I wanted a Shelby truck so bad. I had the F350. And my wife's like, why don't you just get one? I'm like, I can't justify 2 trucks. Why do I need 2 trucks? So I sold that. So it's been really hard because I really want an Audi
R6
R6 so
Okay.
bad.
So Audi R6, and
Yeah.
then
Ford
track car.
4 GT,
And then show car.
GT40, yeah.
Okay.
You could be a truck guy too. I have cars and trucks. I got Broncos, F-150s.
You're sick, man.
Chevys.
You're sick.
You have a problem.
Wait, so what are your guys's?
Oh god. Do we answer
here we
this
go
again?
again.
Okay, do I answer? Okay, you go.
How many times
first.
have you answered it, first of all?
I usually try to like stray away from it, but every
Okay,
once
so
in a
you
while.
don't have to.
No. Now
I'll
I'm
watch
gonna-
another episode.
It's challenging me. It's like the lady in a taco shop. God damn it.
You want me to go first to give you a minute?
What's a second list for you? You can't say your list you say all the time.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
never
boring.
managed to. I always forget it.
I was just about to ask. It probably changes all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so let's go. So track car, I think it's gonna have to be a Viper ACR Extreme today. Show car.
Hey, we'll ask him again after he rides in that today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, show car. Since I'm here, man, Will Dugas has a. Do you know Will Dugas by any chance? He has a
Sounds
Ford
familiar.
GT.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he still has it. It's I think a white with blue stripe.
Oh,
pretty sweet.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's such
love
a good
it.
one. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a good car.
Yeah, dude. Well, like for example, my friend has a GTSR ACR Viper or whatever. I just pissed off everybody in a Viper community. Sometimes you say a spec wrong and it's a problem.
It's been 2.5 hours. You get a pass.
So yeah, let's call that a show car today. Wide body Aventador still speak to me. Let's make that a show car today. And then daily driver. Yeah, I'll do Golf R today. Yeah, last
Heck
time.
yeah.
Oh.
My God. Yeah.
What did I say last time? RSQ8 again? I don't know. I like being
Ooh,
understated.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
I've ridden really fast in an RSQ8 and it scared the crap out
Really?
of me. They are insane. Yeah.
That's what our last
I like
guest
it.
said too.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
All right, Dan.
Well, my Ford list is
GT40?
yeah, right there.
I keep telling you, he's sick.
It's behind me.
Yeah, it's a 0506 Ford GT.
Yeah.
Track car. Daily driver is a Shelby Super Baja because I'm a big diesel truck guy.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
then I want a 71 Torino
Oh.
Cobra. But I love the old Ford FE stuff. It's cool, but it needs to be swapped. I want it Predator swapped. Maybe GTD swapped. Like I want the cantilever suspension. I want all of that in it.
You're not gonna do that to your town car?
Yeah. Resto Mod 71 Torino Cobra.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know what I should do? I should put together I cannot pick a blue oval car and put it together that way.
They have pills for you, Dan.
Yeah, I know.
They have pills to fix your problem.
There's a hotline.
I do. I really like the R8s. I would love to
Yeah.
have like an Nth Moto built twin turbo R8.
They're fantastic.
Would be like
Yeah.
that's like an
Ooh,
ultimate.
they have done twin turbo GTs.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I've heard a twin charged one. There was a guy on Crown Rally that
Crazy.
had a twin charged
Yes, there was.
Twin
and
turbo
you used to drive it
supercharged.
at the
Yeah.
top
It
of the lot,
sounded
top of the limit.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk to Aaron about he has like GTs, like even though he's like a Viper shop, dude, they have a special place in his heart. We'll be having him on soon.
Awesome.
You wouldn't really light him up sometimes. Start talking about the old Shelby Daytonas, the Dodge ones. He has a weird
Obsession?
affliction for those. Yeah.
Oh, well shit, man, where can
funny.
people find you? Do you want people to find you?
Yeah, I mean, at VinGiggs across all platforms.
Cool.
Yep.
Apparently, I have a TikTok.
Yep.
The
We do
lowest
have a
following.
TikTok.
I can't even get it to download on my phone now. I don't know what happened, but Instagram is primary. I do respond to people.
Okay.
If you add me as a friend on Facebook, I probably won't see it because I don't use Facebook, but my Instagram automatically posts
Yeah,
there.
I was surprised how quick you got back to me.
Yeah, Instagram, I'm very, very active, and then YouTube, same thing. I think we changed it to @VinGiggs Garage.
I think it's VinGiggs Garage because
Yeah.
we were doing VinGiggs as the
podcast, yeah.
one. So.
And then you've got a couple.
Yep, I've got my photography media company page is MC Production Garage. I started that way back in the day.
Oh wait, I do follow you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do pictures every now and again. I haven't posted in a while because I've been focusing on like my personal brand, I guess, which is For the Clip. It's kind of like if you're gonna do something, you might as well do it for the clip. So
Yeah.
that's my personal like have fun page, and then I think that's about
YouTube's
it. And then I have YouTube.
You have a big
which is-
YouTube
Yep.
MC Production Garage.
Yep, same thing as my Instagram. So we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Find us there.
Cool.
Dan.
You can find us at Gunna Garage on all things, or Mr. Gunna Garage on Facebook.
Or working as a professional sweeper here.
Yeah. That's one thing. Like, I am a car guy through and through. I'm good at this stuff. I like to drive cars. I love all this shit. I suck at social media and I want to get into it so bad, but it's like, I can't.
He already does so much.
I want it bad, but I just can't. But I shine in other places.
I love it.
He shines. He's a shiner.
I love it.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for coming on, guys.
Yeah.
Vinny.
Miller.
Miller.
Yeah.
You get 2.5 hours in.
I know what you were doing. You were thinking of his last name going, because you were so set on getting his last name right last time.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, to be
I
honest
saw
with
the
you,
fear
Miller-
in your eyes.
Yeah. That's usually somebody's last name, so I
Yeah,
assume
I
that's
have all
what.
last names. As
Yeah.
well.
Well, yeah, because like
My
Miller,
wife says
yeah.
you can't trust people with 2 first names, so you must be super
I'm all
trustworthy.
three. Yeah, all three last names.
Trust him with my life.
Yeah. Just move the car. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thanks for existing,
Yeah.
and we'll see y'all next time.
Thanks again for watching the show, guys. Be sure to go into the description down below and check out all of our sponsors. They are what make this show possible. It allows us to travel the country and talk to some really cool guests. So be sure to check them out, support them just like you support us, and see y'all next time.